Chapter 575, Ben Freud. Chapter 575, Ben Freud. Well, no shit. The first time Gaia ate it, she hadn't activated her bloodline yet, so she'd almost died. Now, she didn't have any negative effects. Instead, the demonic power would give her more pure strength. So, of course it would taste better. Tiger watched as Chen Zhao and Gaia ate and drank on the lakeside. He wanted to too, but he couldn't mess with them. In addition to them, there was also something in the water that he couldn't mess with. Thankfully, this big guy usually didn't move. Princess came over to smooch off their food again. Gaia grabbed a piece of meat and gave it to Princess. To be honest, she was quite thankful towards Princess. If not for her, Gaia would never experience this kind of feeling. Superhuman strength was indeed able to make someone euphoric. Others couldn't do something, but she could. That was all people wanted. A while later, Tiger rested on the side of the lake. Mr. Chan Gaia, I can't swim anymore. Tiger was fit, but because of his physique, he couldn't do endurance training well. It was like how a fat person's weight was extra weight when exercising. Okay, come up now, Chen Zhao said. Tiger could finally come back on land. He couldn't help but gulp when he saw Chen Zhao and Gaia drink and feast. Drink some water first, Mr. Chen. Can I eat something? Chen Zhao and Gaia obviously couldn't let Tiger eat the meat. He would die. There's something in the meat that would affect your competition, so you can't eat it, Chen Zhao said. But you can eat some fruit. I have quite a lot. It will be good for you. Okay. Tiger was a carnivore, but it was good enough that he had food now. After eating, fight with Princess. Oh, don't hit her head or else she'll bite you. Huh. Tiger stared at Princess' terrifying body. How could they fight? Would his fists have any effect on her fat? You can't keep hitting beanbags. You can view Princess as the strongest opponent in your entire career. Mr. Chun, even the strongest boxer won't be able to take a punch from Princess. You have to surpass all the boxers, so you obviously have to choose the strongest opponent. Stop talking.
Fine.
Tiger wanted to cry. Gaia, arrange a place for Tiger to stay before the competition. Don't let him be out in public. Gaia knew that Tiger couldn't be out in public. He might get attacked by the bankers again. If he was attacked again, he might get killed. After all, this was related to millions of dollars and even more bets. If those crazy and heartless bankers dared to attack Tiger, they definitely wouldn't mind killing either. They'd thought that breaking Tiger's arms would be enough. He would never appear in the ring a few days later. If they knew that Tiger had recovered, they would commit even worse crimes. It was like how bankers kidnapped a soccer player's family before the World Cup to threaten the player. Boss, I think that Tiger's trainer took him out of the hospital. Whatever, don't bother with him, Ben Freud said indifferently. To Ben, he didn't have to care about a disabled man anymore. In reality, he didn't want to carry out this plan. A strong boxer's value was far more complicated than a single competition. Ben had wanted to get long-term control of Tiger. Then Tiger would work for him. As long as he got proof of Tiger faking his fighting, he would have blackmail material to control Tiger for life. In the future, he would be able to give Tiger orders at any point in a competition. This way, he'd have perfect control over every competition. His profits would be the highest too. Unfortunately, Tiger didn't plan on cooperating. This annoyed Ben. Of course, for the competition in 4 days, he'd already received $3 million in bets. He planned to wait 2 more days and publicize the information when more people placed their bets. This way, he would earn more money. But the news was publicized the second day. This meant he'd make less money. Ben thought that Tiger must have figured out his goal and contacted the media himself. He wanted to give Tiger more trouble, capture him, and teach him a lesson. But Tiger was already in hiding, so Ben gave up on that. There was no point in fighting with a disabled man. Boss, after we adjusted the odds, the bets for Tiger are still more than $500,000. 3 of the bets are $50,000. Will there be any problems? Huh. What problems? Ben said, not agreeing. They just think that it's fake news, so they want to go for the smaller odds. There are always gamblers at our bank. This time, there's just a few more. No need to get scared. Why should we refuse them if they're willing to give us money? It was possible to win big with small odds, but it was very rare. Plus, in handicaps like this where the bankers control the result, the chances were practically zero. Why else did people say you lose 90% of all bets? These gamblers were mostly all bankrupt, because bankers would never lose. They always had a reason behind their odds. Take Ben for an example. In the beginning, he put the odds as 1.7 to 1 to attract gamblers to bet on Tiger. Then he would use illegal methods to disqualify Tiger from the competition. This way, he would make profit without any worry. For the next 3 days, Tiger was stuck in the gym the entire time. Gaia closed the gym to cover things up. Of the entire gym, only Ola knew what was happening. She'd also listened to Gaia's suggestion and bet some money with the bankers. However, Gaia and Chan Zhao bet money to mess with Dawson Bank. Ola bet with others, sometimes a few thousand, other times close to $10,000. This way, she wouldn't catch the attention of the bankers. Ola looked like an office worker, but she was just as involved in the gray areas as Gaia. Tiger trained like crazy. Anger burned in him. Gaia could see the difference in Tiger. His eyes had sharpened and even looked cruel. Before, Tiger had controlled his strength like Chan Zhao. But in the 3 days of confinement, he'd already broken a dozen sandbags. Chapter 256, Evil from the Heart. Chapter 256, Evil from the Heart. The next day, Risfar realized that he seemed to have really gotten younger. It was more obvious than yesterday. The muscles he'd gotten during school were back on him. This feeling was very strange. Risfar kept posing in the mirror. His heart jumped. Could it have been that bottle of wine? Had Chan Zhao invited him to drink the wine to make himself get younger? Risfar was 40 years old. He estimated that he looked to be around 30 years old now. To be honest, the change wasn't that big. He just looked a bit younger. If it really was the wine, then Del had drunk more than him, so he wondered what the man looked like now. Risfar put on his clothes and ran to Del's manor. He saw a muscular young man with a bare upper body. He was sunbathing next to the pool with just his boxers. Del? Who are you? Johnny? Del looked up. He didn't recognize Risfar immediately. Del, your body. I don't know. I don't know either. You look a decade younger. Del had been 28 years old, but because of his lifestyle, he'd gotten weaker. He'd looked like he was in his 30s. Now, he looked totally young. And what was with that perfect body? Risfar felt that Del's change was even more dramatic than his. Risfar's body had also changed, but it wasn't that big. Is it Chin's wine? Risfar asked. Didn't you give Chin that bottle? It's the original bottle, but the wine can't be it. Or maybe he added something to the wine. Del fell silent. Risfar looked at him and asked, Del, do you know something? No, I don't know anything. To be honest, I'm jealous of your figure. Del was quite satisfied to get his body back too. In the morning, Chin Zhao kissed Feilai goodbye. Then he took the dragon meat out and fed it to Beelzebub, Raymond, Walter, Carrie, Abitos, and the silly twins. He also ate some dragon meat. It really tasted delicious. Just then, someone knocked on the door. Chin Zhao opened it to see a stranger standing there. Mr. Chun, please help me. The stranger started begging him as soon as he started talking. Who are you? Spike? Chin Zhao furrowed his brows. I can't help you. Mr. Chun, please. I beg you. Chin Zhao hated Spike to the max. This businessman had no trustworthiness at all. After he lost his money, he came to Chin Zhao to make him solve the problem. Nothing this good happened. I wanted 1 ton of natural pearls. You wouldn't sell it to me, so I found it from someone else. I don't need it anymore. There's no use finding me. I have no choice now. I owe so much money to the bank and loan sharks. If you don't help me, I'll go bankrupt. This has nothing to do with me. Chin Zhao pushed Spike out. Just as he was about to close the door, Spike raised his gun. He stared at Chin Zhao menacingly. If you don't let me live, I won't make it easy for you either, you chink. Mr. Spike, do you know what you're doing? My life is ruined already, so I'll make you die with me. Chun Zhao raised his leg and kicked Spike without mercy. To him, Spike was just a weakling. Even an amateur like Chen Zhao knew that he had to lift the safety to fire with that gun. This meant that Spike just wanted to scare Chen Zhao into agreeing. Maybe he thought that he could force Chen Zhao to buy his stuff with this childish threat. However, after getting kicked, Spike clutched his stomach in pain while lifting the safety. Chun Zhao just stared coldly at Spike without continuing to attack. After all, he still had a mortal body. He didn't want to block the bullet with his flesh. Spike carefully retreated and escaped into his car. Chun Zhao immediately called the cops. A while later, Leonardo and a policewoman arrived. Chun, I heard that you met an armed robber.
Yes.
Chun Zhao described what had happened. Chin, I swear to you that I'll find the asshole that pointed a gun at you. I'll teach him a lesson. Leonardo, is this your partner? She's Rose, my new partner. Hello, Miss Rose. Hello, Mr. Chin. Leonardo mentions you often. I take it you two are close? Without a doubt, we won't bother you anymore. Goodbye. Bye. Chun Zhao waved. It seemed that Leonardo's spring was here too. Rose looked at Leonardo in a different way. Ever since David and Kate were captured by the Mexican gang, their feelings started heating up. The audience had been raucous, but it silenced instantly. Mouth wide open, everyone gaped at Tiger and Atkins, who'd flown out of the ring. Even the referee was dumbfounded. It was over? Did it end just like that? No one. Tiger yelled. No one can use conspiracies to stop me. No one. Tiger. 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 There were only around 1,000 people present, but it sounded like 10,000 people. Everyone was yelling Tiger's name. The people who won cheered. Even the people who lost money cheered too. Tiger's punch was too spectacular. It was definitely able to rank in the top 100 matches of this year. That was the great thing about boxing. It was the shock brought about by aggressive force. AKO was the best explanation of a boxer's abilities. Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. Chun Zhao was affected by the atmosphere and cheered for Tiger too. Only one person was pissed. He was extremely pissed because he'd lost a few $1 million. No, he lost close to $10 million. In the beginning, he'd received up to $300 million in bets. According to the 1-7 rate, he would have to pay around $500 million. Later, he received around $500,000. According to the 7-5 rate, that was around $400 million. Tiger's one punch made him lose around $900 million. How could Ben be happy? Tiger must die. He must die. In the distance, Chun Zhao received Gaia's call. Chun, I received the money. Those bankers are pretty good with paying up, Chun Zhao said, a bit surprised. I thought that they'd drag it out or refuse to pay. It's electronic. They can't delay it even if they wanted to. Tiger's punch made them lose tens of millions. They won't forgive him, right? Chapter 577, You Go First. I'll take care of the back. Chapter 577, You go first. I'll take care of the back. Now we're waiting for them to fight first. Protect Tiger and don't let him get hurt. If he gets hurt again, I'm afraid he'll get PTSD. This will affect his future career. Okay, I understand. Chun Zhao hung up and continued cheering. Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. This punch was too refreshing. Boxing competitions should be like this clean cut. After the competition, Chun Zhao waited outside. Tiger had to go through a drug test, so he would come out slower. Chun Zhao wasn't in a hurry. Beep, beep. Right then, a motorbike's headlights shone on Chun Zhao's face. He covered his eyes and looked. The rider was familiar. Hey Sharon, are you here to pick me up? Chun Zhao realized that it was actually Sharon. Sharon rolled her eyes at him. Everyone in the audience has left. Why are you still here? You watched that fight too? How about it? Isn't it awesome? Sharon had indeed watched the fight, and she had to admit that Tiger's performance was shocking. That punch had been too beautiful. Forcing a 100-kilogram man off the arena with one punch was a beautiful scene for any boxing lover. Of course, Sharon hadn't come to watch the competition. She'd come to see if she could find any clues or information. She didn't think that Tiger would actually come out. She'd been the one who'd taken Tiger to the hospital, so she had an idea about his injuries. Unexpectedly, Tiger had actually recovered in a short few days. However, because of this, she believed that the bankers would take revenge on Tiger for their losses. This was why she was waiting here. She just didn't think she'd run into Chen Zhao here. Right then, Tiger walked out of the arena. "Tiger, I am a police officer. I have some questions for you." "Tiger, ignore her. She's just a traffic cop who gives out parking fines." "I'm a patrol officer, not a traffic cop," Sharon corrected. "I have enforcement powers." "So, are you interrogating a suspect now?" Chen Zhao asked. "Can you not cause trouble?" "You gave me so many fines," Chen Zhao complained. "Don't you know how much I've lost? If you can make Tiger cooperate, I promise I'll turn a blind eye if I meet you again." "No, you've already hurt me psychologically. Tiger, let's go." "Okay, Mr. Chen." Tiger only listened to Chen Zhao. Sharon followed behind, not giving up. When they reached the parking lot, the surrounding cars suddenly turned their headlights on. At the same time, more than 30 people ran in from all over. They held all sorts of bats and looked really menacing. Chen Zhao saw the guy at the front. He seemed to have been the one who'd gotten into a fight with Chen Zhao in the stands and got taught a lesson. "Tiger, do you know that I lost $10 million because of your one punch?" Ben led his dozen guys and glared sinisterly at Chen Zhao. Seeing the dozen men, Tiger was actually a bit afraid, but he still looked at Chen Zhao. "Hey, it's that Asian monkey. Good, great. I was wondering where I could find you. I can't believe that the two people I hate the most tonight are right before me." Ben's eyes were filled with happiness when he saw Chen Zhao. Earlier, when Tiger had hit Akin off the podium with one punch, Ben had forgotten everything because of his hatred for Tiger. But seeing Chen Zhao, the humiliation he'd felt in the stands made him hate Chen Zhao too. "Police, freeze. You're suspected of public violence and—" Suddenly, a bat crashed down on Sharon. She turned to the side, dodging the attack. Reflexively, she went for her gun, but then she realized that she didn't bring her gun today. She had to go past security to enter the arena today. Even though she was a police officer, her gun wouldn't be able to get past security if she wasn't on a mission. "You're assaulting the police," Sharon yelled. "This girl looks nice," Ben said. "Use her as the ransom. I'll cut off your limbs and see if you can still be jumping around in a few days." Ben never acted in legal ways. He didn't care about assaulting the police at all, especially a female officer who didn't even have a gun. Would saying sorry work now?" Chen Zhao asked, sighing. "Say it louder. I can't hear." Ben turned his head, acting like he was listening carefully. "Fuck you." Chen Zhao stuck his middle finger up. Sharon pulled Chen Zhao aside. "Idiot. You'll only piss him off. Move aside. I'll keep them here. You two run." Just then, Ben's guys charged over. Sharon did a beautiful sweep, toppling a gangster right there. She also threw another gangster over her shoulder at the same time. Clap, clap, clap. "Woo!" Chen Zhao cheered on the side. "Beautiful, beautiful." Tiger rolled his eyes. Chen Zhao was just watching the show. Sharon turned to glare at him. "You're still not going." "They blocked the path. We have no escape route," Chen Zhao said helplessly. "How about you help us clear the path?" Just then, a gangster attacked Sharon from the back. The metal rod slammed into her shoulder. Sharon had good fighting techniques, but she was still human. She was only a bit stronger than regular people. The bat wasn't light at all. However, Sharon reacted very quickly. She turned around with an elbow jab, and the gangster who'd attacked her was flipped onto the ground. "Go, Sharon." Sharon was so annoyed. This guy was just taking pleasure in her misery. "You asshole," Sharon cursed. "I should just leave. Aren't you happy to have me cheering you on? Shut up and stop distracting me." "You're the one who talked first," Chen Zhao said, pouting. Just then, Sharon was hit again. This bat hit her arm and now, she couldn't move her right arm anymore. Chun Zhao moved forward and pulled Sharon back. "What are you doing?" Sharon yelled. "Tiger, protect this lady, officer." "Yes, Mr. Chun." "Sharon, will I get arrested for accidentally killing someone in this situation?" "You'll be fine even if you kill them all right now," Sharon said. "But the biggest possibility is that you're the one who gets killed." Chapter 578. He has met all the requirements to become an asshole. Chapter 578. He has met all the requirements to become an asshole. "Remember what you said?" Bang! Before Qin Zhao could finish, he was already hit in the back of his head by a stick. Qin Zhao rubbed the back of his head. "It hurts." Sharon face-bombed. How could it not hurt? It was a baseball bat. Qin Zhao was lucky to not have his skull fractured. Just then, the gangster lifted the bat again and struck at Qin Zhao's face. Crack! Qin Zhao would clearly not allow the disfigurement strike to land on his face. He immediately broke the gangster's wrist with one hand and punched his stomach with his right fist. The gangster covered his stomach, after which he knelt on the ground, his body twitching lightly. The next moment, Qin Zhao raised his foot and kicked the gangster out. Sharon lifted her eyebrows in surprise. Qin Zhao was not huge, but his kick was pretty strong. He had actually managed to send someone 3 meters away. It seemed like he was not that weak. Thud! Just as Sharon was still thinking, Qin Zhao suddenly swept out his arm. A gangster was almost split into two together with his bat. When Sharon saw the gangster being hit by Qin Zhao's hand, she thought she was watching a slow-motion scene. The gangster's expression became painful, his body became distorted, and he eventually flew backward. "Ah, it's been so long since I last hit someone. What an amazing feeling." Qin Zhao stretched his arms, exercising his shoulder bones. Tiger had just beaten someone up today in the ring. He also felt great. However, after seeing what Qin Zhao had just done, Tiger thought that he would never train with Qin Zhao again. "Go, what are you waiting for? Kill them, especially that Asian." Ben Freud roared. "Art." A gangster was sent into the air by Qin Zhao's punch. Sharon watched the fight at the side. She had learned how to fight before. She knew that the strength needed to send a person vertically upward was completely different from what Tiger had done in the ring. In addition, the two punches also had different powers. It was easy for Tiger to use all his strength in the right hook. On the other hand, Qin Zhao could use at most half of his strength in the vertical uppercut. But he still managed to send the gangster 2 meters into the air with the blow. Has he always been so strong? Sharon asked in disbelief. She had originally thought that Qin Zhao did not know how to fight. When Qin Zhao fought, she thought that he was a mere novice. However, from the look of it, Qin Zhao was in fact a skilled fighter. One time, he broke both arms of a top professional boxer in one punch. "That person's quit professional boxing now," Tiger said. "I'm Mr. Qin's student." Sharon found Tiger's words more unbelievable. "That asshole is actually so powerful. But he actually watched me fight just now. I was hit so many times. He has met all the requirements to become an asshole." Suddenly, Qin Zhao's eye of shadow vision opened. Danger! Instinctively, Qin Zhao dodged to the side. Bang! Blood erupted from the chest of the gangster before him. Ben Freud was pointing a gun at Qin Zhao. Unfortunately, Qin Zhao was too fast. He could not lock onto Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao covered his body with Qingyi armor at once. He had never used Qingyi armor to block bullets, so he did not know how effective it would be. Anyhow, Qingyi armor could block some damage from the bullet. Qin Zhao dodged left and right. Ben Freud fired 3 times, but did not hit Qin Zhao at all. However, Qin Zhao had already charged before him. Ben lowered the muzzle and pointed at Qin Zhao. Locked. Ben was about to shoot. The next instant, he saw his arm flying in the air. Sharon and Tiger watched in horror. They saw Qin Zhao suddenly grab Ben's arm and shoulder, and then simply pulled it. Immediately, Ben's arm made a perfect trajectory in the air. Tiger paled as he recalled the past. He suddenly realized how lucky he was. He had actually challenged Qin Zhao in the past. It was good to be alive. Sharon was similarly dumbfounded. Little did she expect Qin Zhao, who would bullshit with her every time after receiving a ticket, to have such a terrifying side. My arm. Arg. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Qin Zhao grabbed Bin's right shoulder with one hand. Crack. He crushed Bin's right shoulder directly. Arg. Say sorry, Qin Zhao said. Arg. Qin Zhao twisted Bin's ear. If you can't hear me, you won't need your ears anymore. Sorry. 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 Bin obviously did not expect Qin Zhao to be so frightening. That's better. Qin Zhao let go of his ear, but instead grabbed his chin. But your pronunciation is worse than a foreigner like me. Let me correct it for you. Sharon covered her eyes. She saw Qin Zhao kill Bin. No, he didn't kill him directly. Perhaps Bin could still survive. But his chin was totally crushed. Qin Zhao looked at the rest, after which he rubbed the blood on his hands. Everyone shivered uncontrollably. There was no way he was human. How could he do such a cruel thing? Miss Sharon, can I kill all of them? Sharon's face darkened. Even though Qin Zhao was acting in self-defense, if he continued killing, it would become murder, or more accurately, massacre. The gangsters lowered their bats. They did not dare to fight Qin Zhao anymore. It was horrifying to see Qin Zhao fight. Those who had been hit by him were either dead or disabled. Who wants to die? If you don't want to die, drop your bats now. Sharon shouted. Meanwhile, she grabbed her phone to call her colleagues. A fight has just happened in the parking lot outside LA Memorial Coliseum. There are casualties. Call the ambulance. Are any of you still unhappy? You can fight him now. The gangsters bullied the weak, but feared the strong. Nevertheless, Qin Zhao was heavily outnumbered, so they were somewhat reluctant. Just then, Qin Zhao punched the hood of the car beside him. With a loud bang, the hood was completely distorted, depressed in the center and raised at the sides. Do it quickly if you want to. I don't mind breaking all of your bones. Thud, thud. Finally, the first gangster dropped his bat, and then the second and the third. You need to pay for deliberate damage to the car. Sharon looked at the car that Qin Zhao had destroyed. I'll include it in the report. Qin Zhao was annoyed at this very serious policewoman. How about I kill you too? Chapter 579, A Misunderstanding. Chapter 579, A Misunderstanding. The police came. David brought his men over. Qin Zhao and David hugged warmly. Chun, it's my birthday this weekend. Instead of asking about the situation, David's first words were to invite Qin Zhao to his party. Sunday? Qin Zhao asked. Failai and I'll be there. Oh, and how long will I have to stay at the station? Okay, let's talk about what happened here. I hope you can give me a good reason. Otherwise, you'll miss my party. Your subordinate will tell you what happened, Qin Zhao said. Leader, Sharon said. These people purposely attacked us. That guy even shot at Mr. Chen with a gun. Are you hurt? David asked. I'm fine. Sharon had gotten hit on her shoulder and arms, but she could take it. And him? David looked at Tiger. My student, Tiger, professional boxer and a college student at UCLA. The one I crushed the jaw of is one of the bankers. He'd attacked Tiger a few days ago. This time, because Tiger won the competition, he lost a fortune. So he carried out this attack. Okay, take your student back now. I'll call you if it's needed. Thanks, David. We're brothers. Qin Zhao led Tiger to the car. Tonight, Tiger had actually gotten frightened. Qin Zhao had fought many times before him, but even at UCLA, he'd only broken Zanla Douglas' arm. The other students had gotten beaten up, but they'd only needed casts. No one had any lasting effects. This time, Qin Zhao's actions had been bloody. He'd ripped the man's arm straight off. That bloody scene increased Tiger's fear and respect for Qin Zhao. Tiger, I helped you bet $50,000 at that bastard's bank. According to the odds, you'll get $375,000. Huh. Tiger was dazed. He didn't think that Qin Zhao would actually help him bet. No, instead of betting, it was more like giving him money. If this bet had lost, Chun Zhao would be the one paying out of his pocket. In other words, it was Tiger's if they'd won and Chen Zhao's if they'd lost. Tiger was suddenly so touched. However, I can't give you this money at once, Chen Zhao said. I'll give you $20,000 for winning this round. You can use the money to help your family. Of course, you can also use it to improve your own life. But you're just starting your career. Don't think about using the money to go party and fuck around. I'll allow you to rest occasionally, but if you dare to touch things you shouldn't, I'll throw you to the sharks. Mr. Chun, I swear I'll never touch those things. Qin Zhao knew that the sports and entertainment circle had high drug rates. Many entertainment and sports celebrities ruined their lives over these things. So, as long as Tiger was still under his control, Qin Zhao wouldn't allow him to touch those things. Even if he so much as tried them, Qin Zhao would make him regret it. Mr. Chun, will those people take revenge on my family? Why do you think Gaia didn't come today? Qin Zhao glanced at Tiger. The scariest thing about Gaia isn't how good she is at fighting. Instead, it's that she can make anyone she wants disappear without a sound, even a gangster. Tiger shuddered. As expected, he couldn't mess with either Chun Zhao or Gaia. He promised himself to never get into a conflict with them. Chun Zhao patted Tiger. Okay, you're home. After dropping Tiger off, Chun Zhao planned on going home too. But after 3 blocks, someone suddenly crashed into Chan Zhao's car. Chun Zhao stopped, but then a figure rushed out. Get out now. The man came to the window, aiming a gun at Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao rolled down his window and swore. Fuck you. Fuck, Chun. Why is it you? Fuck, that's my question. Why is it you? Chun Zhao was speechless. So was Marguerite. This was like a flood destroying a water god's temple. Just then, a few other people rushed over. Seeing Marguerite standing beside Chan Zhao's car, they started shooting. Marguerite ducked straight into Chan Zhao's car. You want to kill me? I didn't know it's you. Marguerite was frustrated too. Chen Zhao was the one he trusted the most in the world. Chen Zhao was also the only one he wouldn't hurt. But who would have known that he would run into Chen Zhao when he wanted to steal a car? Faced with so many people shooting, Chen Zhao could only duck below the windshield. Floor it and charge over, Marguerite said. I'll take care of the rest. Without looking up, Chen Zhao floored the gas pedal and went for the people. They hurriedly dodged to the side, but because Chen Zhao couldn't see, the car crashed into the railing. Marguerite had already slipped out of the car. Bang, bang. Chen Zhao saw from the rearview mirror that Marguerite had killed 2 people. He also slipped out of the car and moved to the people's side. They currently had a few bushes between them and Marguerite and were shooting into it. They were completely focused on Marguerite and didn't notice Chen Zhao. Taking a deep breath, Chen Zhao gestured at Marguerite. Marguerite's expression went blank. What did that gesture mean? Suddenly, Chen Zhao charged at the people's backs. He was too fast. They couldn't even process what was happening before Chen Zhao had already charged into them. Marguerite was unable to shoot now. He didn't care about anyone else, but he couldn't shoot at Chen Zhao. With Chen Zhao so close by, the people panicked too. They hurriedly tried to shoot at Chen Zhao, but they were beaten to the ground before they could fire. The entire process was less than 10 seconds. Marguerite looked at Chen Zhao, standing in the middle. He hesitated a few seconds before walking over. The first thing he did was to add some more bullets into the people on the ground. Can you tell me what just happened? Chun, pretend you didn't see this. This has nothing to do with you, all right? Marguerite didn't want Chen Zhao to get involved in this. Chen Zhao just looked at Marguerite, and he knew that he couldn't hide it anymore. He could only explain, I killed their boss. You can recover your status by killing their boss. I'm mustering my men from before, Marguerite said. Do you need my help for anything? No, I'm mostly done. He just didn't want Chen Zhao to get involved. Then what about Victoria? Chapter 580, The Embarrassing Spider-Man Costume. Chapter 580, The Embarrassing Spider-Man Costume. Still in that cave. I came out to kill people. Obviously, I wouldn't bring her along. Is she doing fine? Yeah, apart from being a bit mischievous, Morgari nodded. To Qin Zhao, it was only an interlude. He did not plan to get himself involved in Morgari's business. Morgari was determined to remain in the profession. Qin Zhao would not say anything. He was also not in the position to say anything. Just like how he had helped Morgari, Qin Zhao believed that Morgari would help him too should he need it. Of course, it was their own choices. The next day, Tiger's name appeared in the sports headlines. Tiger became popular, extremely popular. The video of him blasting his opponent Akin out of the ring in one punch continued to be played on various sports media. Boxing had a broad audience in America. Tiger appeared before the public like a new superstar. Qin Zhao could not even remember how much news about Tiger he saw in the next few days. Some of the media managed to dig out most of the inside story, such as what Tiger had said during the match. Of course, Tiger also enjoyed the pleasure of being famous. Wherever he went, he would attract countless stares, especially in the fitness center and the college's boxing club. Everyone viewed him as a hero. Nevertheless, there were also people who had doubts about him. They believed that Tiger was only lucky. Very quickly, he would vanish into the masses, as most newbies would. However, Tiger managed to shut the mouths of all those who questioned him with another match. He KO'd another opponent in one punch. Moreover, his opponent was a well-known boxer who was pretty strong. Now, Tiger was already in the final four of the BBL. There were only 2 rounds left, the semi-finals and the finals. Tiger's betting odds were already very low. Nonetheless, the bankers all knew what had happened to Dawson Bank. Nobody dared to assault Tiger anymore. After all, the betting markets of a state-level competition probably involved only a few $1 million. After being distributed to the various bankers, they would receive at most $1 million, or maybe not even 100,000. The benefits were not big enough for them to take high risks to control the match. Fei Lai, you've already been putting on your makeup for half an hour. Do I not even have the right to put on makeup? Questioning a woman about her makeup time was a sure way to enrage her, including Fei Lai. No, I'm just wondering why you're putting makeup. Even if you don't, you're still the prettiest. Humph. Fei Lai widened her eyes at Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao did not dare to say anything again. He waited in the living room quietly. After another half an hour, Fei Lai finally came out. It was David's birthday party today. While they did not have to dress up too formally, any party was like war to a woman. The makeup should neither be too solemn nor too casual. Anyway, Qin Zhao could not understand it, like most men. Nonetheless, he only had to know how to flatter. This was an essential skill that all men who had a desire to survive should have. Fei Lai, aren't you wearing the Red Moon heart? I'm not the spotlight today. It belongs to David and Kate. Fei Lai rolled her eyes at Qin Zhao. Wearing the Red Moon heart is way too flaunty unless I want to destroy our friendships. Qin Zhao felt that a woman's world was too complicated. Anyway, David and he were not that complicated. As Qin Zhao drove, Fei Lai was still doing her makeup in the front passenger seat. He could not tell what Fei Lai was doing. Was there any difference at all? 20 minutes later, they arrived at David's house. Kate opened the door. She had clearly put a lot of effort into her makeup too. She hugged Fei Lai, after which she invited the two into the house. Soon, Leonardo arrived, followed by Sienna, Chris, and Cheryl. Qin Zhao and Fei Lai had brought the purple brew as a present. The wine was in some sense both cheap and expensive. Chris, Sienna. Who's this little beauty? Leonardo asked. She's Cheryl. Sienna patted Cheryl's shoulder. Cheryl opened her hand, where there was a bracelet. Hello, David, Sienna, and Chris asked me to give this to you. This bracelet can protect you from evil. Perhaps only Kate and Leonardo did not know that most people in the house knew about the supernatural world. Great, thank you. But don't you think that it's slightly inconvenient for a cop like me to wear such a bracelet? David grabbed the golden bracelet. It was indeed beautiful. He had no idea what material it was made of, but it was definitely not gold. With his knowledge of Sienna and Chris, they were not rich, so there was no way they would give him a gold bracelet as a gift. Qin Zhao took out the purple brew which was wrapped in a gift box and gave it to David. Then, it was Leonardo's turn. To everyone's speechlessness, Leonardo took out a Spider-Man garage kit. Fine, it was Leonardo's interest. David happily accepted the item. The party formed a circle, eating, drinking, and chatting. When Chun came to my birthday party that time, he cosplayed as Spider-Man, Leonardo said. Oh, Leonardo, when's your birthday? Kate asked. 3rd of January, Leonardo replied. Kate, are you going to give me a present? How about you introduce me to a girlfriend instead? I really want to see Chun cosplaying Spider-Man, Kate said with a smile. Wait, I have a Spider-Man costume at home. Chun, do you want to try it? David said. What? Why do I have to cosplay Spider-Man? I don't like Spider-Man. Come, try it. Ignoring Chun Zhao's refusal, the group approached him and attempted to remove his shirt. Fine, fine. Let go of me. I'll go and change myself. Damn, why do I have to dress up like a clown? Chen Zhao went to the room and changed into the Spider-Man costume. He looked at himself in the mirror. No matter how he looked, he found himself really awkward. Chun, stop hiding in the room. Come and let us see. Haven't you seen in the past? Why do I have to do it again? I haven't, Kate said. You're always so serious. It's rare to see you embarrassed. Take a video. Everyone took out their phones, including Feilai and Cheryl. Didn't you already make videos that time? Chun, make a pose. Shoot the webs. Climb the wall. Hang upside down on the beam. There isn't a beam in the house. Chun Zhao's head hurt. David was the birthday boy, so he had to cooperate. Remember this. When it's my birthday, I'll make all of you regret it. Chapter 581, Wine Tasting Party. Chapter 581, Wine Tasting Party. On the way home, Feilai looked at Chun Zhao with a smile in her eyes. Chun, you don't like tight clothes? No. Chun Zhao shrugged. But those tight clothes embarrassed me. Actually, you look hot even when you wear that. Then, how about we cosplay tonight? I'm driving. Don't move. Oh, did you feel that Kate and David are kind of weird? It's normal, Chun Zhao said. The last time we had our housewarming party, Kate didn't come. David kept hesitating when talking about Kate and even avoided the question. Will they break up? Chun Zhao didn't reply. It wasn't good to wonder if another couple would break up. Though Chun Zhao did think that Kate and David wouldn't last long. They both had their own ideas. One was a reporter, one was a police officer. These two jobs both had irregular schedules. If they spent most of their time on work, they would definitely have less time for their relationship. When Chun Zhao and Feilai weren't at work, they spent most of their time together. That was why their relationship was also stronger than David and Kate. Kate, it's already late. Go rest. David walked out of the bathroom to see Kate still working at her table. Today was his birthday party, but after his friends left, the atmosphere in the house cooled. They didn't have the passion from when they first met. Now, they were familiar yet distant lovers. Because of their work, it was difficult to find time for each other. In the 4 months of knowing each other, they didn't even have time to eat a meal together. Especially last time for Chun Zhao and Feilai's housewarming party, Kate had missed it to do work and they'd had a big fight. Okay, I'll rest after I finish this. Kate didn't look back. She was holding the picture of Chun Zhao dressed as Spider-Man. These pictures looked funny. David was also in the picture, laughing happily. He only had that genuine and relaxed smile when he was with his friends. Suddenly, a strange thought flashed past Kate's mind. January 3rd, Leonardo's birthday. Kate found a video on the computer. This was the footage from the building climbing group. It was also filmed on January 3rd, and the star of the video was also wearing a Spider-Man costume. Kate compared the video with the picture. She sharpened the video and then transferred the picture into her laptop to compare further. The software displayed that the two were 99% similar. Kate's expression changed. Chun Zhao was the man? How could it be Chun Zhao? Kate hesitated. She didn't know how to take care of this. She knew what had happened in CL building on the night of the 3rd. Philip Quinn, the millionaire living in the penthouse, had been attacked. According to the hypotheses, The attacker had broken in. This meant that Qin Zhao had climbed more than 100 floors to attack Philip. However, Kate also knew about Philip's past. He was a complete and utter bastard. In the end, Kate chose to press delete. She would pretend that this never happened, or that she didn't know anything at all. Not only was Chen Zhao a friend of David, he was also her friend. Disregarding Chen Zhao's status and what he'd done, Kate didn't think that he was wrong. Perhaps Kate couldn't be a hero. Thus, she would just stay silent. "Hello, Mr. Rasfa. I'm very honored to receive your invitation." Rasfa looked at the guests in the manner. They were all top figures of LA. Of course, they all had a similar trait. Rich. Very rich. Right then, Paul walked over. "Sir, the guests are pretty much all here." Rasfa nodded. "Get things prepared." He took out a goblet and clinked his spoon onto it. "Ladies and gentlemen, can I say something?" Rasfa had the right to speak among these guests. "Roski, I didn't invite you here for a blind date. Can you let go of the lady beside you?" All the guests chuckled. Roski shrugged helplessly. "Rasfa, your wine-tasting party is too boring. You didn't even prepare a bottle of wine. What are we supposed to taste?" "The wine will be here soon." Rasfa waved and Paul brought the purple brew out with both hands. "I bought this wine from the Far East with a great fortune." Everyone looked at the purple brew's exquisite packaging. They were curious about the wine that made Rasfa invite so many upper-class figures. "Rasfa, there's only one bottle," a bearded man asked. "Are you sure it's enough for all of us?" "This is wine tasting, not an all-you-can-drink," Rasfa replied easily. After all, he had a few of these banquets, feasts, and parties every month. He'd dealt with all sorts of things before. Today was just a small matter. "Oh, I have a question before the wine tasting begins," Rasfa said. "What is your deepest memory?" "No need to answer me now." He picked up the purple brew and opened it. In an instant, the mesmerizing fragrance seeped into the crowd. People who smelled the wine for the first time would involuntarily think of a certain point of their life or a relationship. It might not be romance, but family or friendship. Rasfa was already immune to the fragrance, but if he drank it, memories would still flash past his eyes. He'd already forgotten some of them, but he would remember again after drinking. This was a special experience. Rasfa even thought that this wasn't wine but emotions. Some of the guests in the hall were murmuring. Others shed tears by themselves. Even others were already sobbing and breaking down. Strong and deep memories and feelings all flooded out now. Even the ones who thought they were strong couldn't resist the intense emotions. They were all immersed in the feelings. Rasfa smiled at the tearful guests. He had a satisfied expression. Even though he'd had the same reaction when he first tried the wine, at least he didn't lose it in front of so many people. Chapter 582, Endless Aftertaste. Chapter 582, Endless Aftertaste. Gradually, people began to recover. Those who woke up first looked around them, after which they wiped their tears away. The emotions were slowly fading. It was complicated and yet memorable. It was as if they had just been drunk, or had an unforgettable date. Ding, ding. Ladies and gentlemen, Rasfa clearly did not plan to let them continue to be immersed in their memories and emotions. "Rasfa, what's that? Magic? Can't you smell it? It's the wine." "No, it's not wine. The feeling. I recalled my mother." "I thought I'd forgotten about it, Carrie." "Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to have a glass? Another round of memories." Rasfa waved his hand, and the servants presented everyone with a glass of wine. It was a wonderful feeling. Memories might be painful, but people still wanted more. However, there was only one glass of wine. Everyone was drowning in emotions, but the feeling was slowly dying. "Mr. Rasfa, can I have another glass, please?" "Thanks," a lady said. "I would like to have another glass too. It feels great." "Sorry, but I'm afraid I won't be able to satisfy your requests," Rasfa said with a smile. "Why? Why are you being stingy with just a glass of wine? You've seen for yourself, there's only a bottle." At least I only have this bottle. I've given all of it to you. Rasfa knew well how the rarity of an item would affect its value. If he chose to satisfy all the guests at once, they would instead not cherish it. By allowing only a tiny sip, the guests would enjoy the moment even more. It was Rasfa's personal experience. The best thing was one that a person wanted but could not get. You should have prepared more. Rasfa, you shouldn't treat your guests like this. Everyone was complaining, even those who had painful memories. They were similarly displeased. Actually, what they had experienced was not pain, but rather cherishable thoughts. But before they were satisfied, the feelings had already died down. It was like running out of alcohol after getting tipsy, or like two lustful people who were about to do it realizing that they had no condoms. Quiet, quiet, Rasfa called. Everyone, you should understand by now how precious the wine is. It's not that I'm unwilling to prepare more. I don't actually have more. Mr. Rasfa, may I know where you got the wine from? From the East. It's a very old winery. Do you know how much I paid for the wine? Not money, but I made many promises, Rasfa said. The mysterious East. A dreamlike wine. It's just a glass of wine. But I've experienced life. I feel younger. I've had another date. Rasfa, when you get this wine again, can you inform me immediately? Or maybe I'll buy it directly. Mr. Rasfa, me too, no matter how much it costs. Fine, if I get more purple brew next time, I'll tell you, Rasfa said, smiling. From the reactions of these celebrities, the wine tasting session was clearly a success. The guests reluctantly left one after another. In the end, the last guest approached Rasfa. Rasfa? Bach. Rasfa hugged his old friend. You cunning asshole. Wine from the East? I don't believe that, Bach said, laughing. Of course, Bach knew Rasfa's aim. He was trying to either gain benefits or expand his social circle. As long as everyone craved the wine, Rasfa could easily extend his social network. While Bach wanted the wine too, he knew that Rasfa would not agree. You didn't stay to curse me, did you? Is there any use in cussing you? Will you tell me the source of the wine? Of course not. Don't even think about it. I'll be holding an auction on the top floor of Hilda Hotel, 7th of May. Get me a bottle of the wine to put on the auction, Bach said. It can attract more rich people to the event. Bach was a businessman, specialized in the sales of top-tier luxury goods. He did not have a company behind him. Instead, he would fight for goods and bidders with his own reputation. Nevertheless, he had been in this profession for 50 years already. The auction deals made under him summed to a total of over $10 billion. What did that mean? On average, his auctions would make deals totaling $200 million every year. This was more than most auction companies in the world. In some sense, Bach was himself a brand. The number of rich people and celebrities that Bach knew was a few times, or even a few dozen times more than Rasfa. Some celebrities in LA might not know Rasfa, but they definitely knew Bach. That's going to be difficult. The supply is very limited, Rasfa said, looking like he was in a difficult position. I can promise you that the final price of the wine will be at least $500,000. Asshole, are you looking down on me? You think I need $500,000? Fine. I promise it'll be at least $1 million. Anything lower, I'll arrange a bidder to raise it to $1 million. As a famous person in the world of auctions, Bach was familiar with all business tricks. Some items might not be that valuable by themselves, but they could attract many bidders. An example would be the purple brew. Therefore, Bach was willing to pay for the benefits. I can't answer you right now, Rasfa said. Hey, don't be greedy. The final price of the 30-year-old wine from French Village wasn't even $5 million in the last 3 years. Do you think the purple brew is not as good as the 30-year-old wine from French Village? Rasfa, how old are you again? Stop saying such a stupid thing. The value of an item may not depend on how good it is, but rather on its reputation. If it's you, would you spend $5 million on the purple brew, or on the 30-year-old wine from French Village? My answer doesn't mean anything, because I'll never spend $5 million to buy a bottle of wine, No matter what wine it is, Bach said calmly. 5 million. That's my bottom line, Rasfa said. Bach's eyes sparkled. He was hesitating. The wine was indeed a perfect brew. But could it really attract enough rich people? 2 days later, Stephen will hold a party. He also has a bottle of wine which he'll open at the party. Asshole, you're not the only one with the wine. Huh. Chapter 583, Old Bastard Attacks. Chapter 583, Old Bastard Attacks. Chun, good news. Your wine will be auctioned at Hilda Hotel's special auction on May 7th. I can also promise that it won't be sold for less than $5 million. What do I have to pay? At least 2 bottles per month? No way. You said yourself, supply and demand. I think only 1 bottle per month will make you think of me. Plus, if I give you 1 bottle per month, that old bastard Stephen would make the same request too. I sold your wine for $5 million. He didn't do anything other than drink your wine. That also means that it'll be even more difficult to sell the wine in the future. This was true. If he sold the first bottle for $5 million, it meant that the future price couldn't be lower than this. Otherwise, it would be an insult to the first buyer. And it would be a feat if he could sell 2 bottles per year. Whatever. This was an unexpected fortune. It would be nice if he could make $2 or $3 million in a year. Why are you so happy? Feilai asked, walking over. Made money? Feilai chuckled. She knew that Chen Zhao had many sources of income. In addition to being an illegal doctor, he was also a trainer and now a wine seller. Chen Zhao pulled Feilai over and kissed heavily. Beep, beep, beep. Suddenly, a car appeared outside and honked endlessly. What asshole is honking outside our house? Chen Zhao crossed the front yard with a dark expression. Some people came out of the car. Chen Zhao took a look. Fuck you. Fuck you. Laurent, why are you here? Chen Zhao yelled. In addition to Laurent, Kane, Kareem, and Howard had come too. Thankfully, he didn't see Winip yet. What kind of attitude is that? I'm here to see my daughter, Laurent said indignantly. Chen Zhao turned toward Kane, Kareem, and Howard. This asshole isn't willing to talk. So, you 3, tell me why you're here. Chen Zhao had a murderous expression and the 3 shuddered. They wanted to cry. They didn't want to come at all, but Winip insisted on them coming with Laurent. The person they least wanted to face was Chen Zhao. Nothing good ever happened when they saw Chen Zhao. More importantly, Laurent just liked to cause trouble. They would never be in peace when Laurent and Chen Zhao encountered each other. It would be all right if Laurent won once. The thing was, he'd never beaten Chen Zhao, but he insisted on getting himself in trouble every time. Chen, Kane said, boss is out of the country these days, so Laurent came to L.A. Dad. Feilai came out just then. Seeing Laurent, she hurried over excitedly and hugged him. Feilai, this place is nice. Laurent looked around. He had to admit that Chen Zhao knew how to live nicely. He'd actually chosen this place for a house. At least, it was much better than his house with Winip. Do you like it? You can stay. Laurent, didn't you already book a hotel? Chen Zhao interrupted. Feilai, I already told him many times to stay, but he won't do it. He insists on staying at the hotel, saying that the 4 of them won't fit in our guest room. And I think that's true, right, Laurent? Yeah, Chen warmly welcomes me, but now, I don't think it's convenient to stay at a hotel. As for Kane, Kareem, and Howard, they can fit somehow. Oh, my basement is empty. Chen Zhao's eyes flashed. If they don't mind sleeping on the ground, they can stay in the basement. The underground environment is great. Kane, Kareem, and Howard were about to cry. Laurent, it's not that far from the hotel. It's really convenient to go back and forth. Plus, Kareem isn't hygienic, so he came down with eczema. We don't want to get infected by sleeping with him. Kareem didn't talk. He would concede in order to not stay here. Eczema isn't contagious, Feilai said. Right, Chen? And eczema isn't about personal hygiene. Kareem can stay, and have Chen take a look. Then you can stay. Chen Zhao had a helpless tone. Laurent smiled as if his evil plan had worked and strolled into the house. What a nice place. Laurent reached the living room. Wow, Raymond, you're this big now. He wasn't afraid of Raymond anymore and picked the snake up. Raymond was now at least 3 kilograms and more than 2 meters long. As for a snake that wasn't a python, that was pretty big. However, they were more shocked by Abito's size. With his thin tail, he was close to 5 meters long and completely unlike the lizards that they knew. Qin Zhao went to the kitchen. Right now, Fei Lai was making tea for them. Fei Lai, your dad doesn't seem to be eating healthily these days. Don't let him drink wine. Oh, got it. Fei Lai didn't overthink it. She always trusted Chun Zhao's diagnoses. Smiling warmly, Chun Zhao brought out a bottle of purple brew. Wow, so sweet. Having a nose as sharp as a dog's, Laurent practically started floating. He quickly began crying. Winnip, I miss you so much. I remember that woman from town. I promised her to get out of the fire together. I miss my grandma. Laurent, Kareem, Kane. What's wrong? Howard was the only one with no heart. He didn't know why they were crying. I'm okay. I'm just thinking of the past. Fei Lai, what's that smell? It's so fragrant. Oh, that's the wine that Chin brewed. Give me some. I'll have a taste of his wine. Dad, you can't drink it, Fei Lai said. Why? Laurent was instantly upset. Chun says that you have an alcoholic liver. You're not allowed to drink. Have Chin give you some treatment. I don't have an alcoholic liver, Laurent refuted. Your mom never lets me drink. He also knew that Qin Zhao did this on purpose. Qin Zhao took out the wine to tease him, but wouldn't let him touch it. Even so, Fei Lai still chose to believe Qin Zhao. Laurent was about to go crazy. The smell was too alluring. Kane, Kareem, Howard, have a glass. Qin Zhao purposely gave the wine to the three, but ignored Laurent. What about me? Laurent, you should drink less, so you don't have trouble getting hard. Fuck you. I don't have any trouble. Chapter 584, Clash in the Parking Lot. Chapter 584, Clash in the Parking Lot. A few assholes were living here now. Chun Zhao and Fei Lai's two-person world was completely gone. Chun Zhao was annoyed. Laurent was just whatever. After all, he was Fei Lai's father. No, they must be driven away. They couldn't be allowed to destroy his two-person world with Fei Lai. Laurent, do you want to go in the water? Mirror Lake is really soothing. No, Laurent refused directly. Just as he'd always been trying to trick Qin Zhao obviously wanted to trick him too. Who knew if the water was safe or not? Dad, Mirror Lake is really safe. Amon is in there too. Liar. I'm a college graduate, at least. Do you think I'm that stupid? How can a whale live in freshwater? Laurent, look over there. Laurent was speechless. He indeed saw a huge black shadow on the distant lake surface. Wasn't that Amon? Dad, don't you know that killer whales can actually live in freshwater? Okay, so reality won. It could indeed survive in freshwater. What could Laurent say? In order to welcome Laurent and the others, Fei Lai suggested a barbecue party. After everyone busied around, the pets gathered around too. It wasn't their first time interacting with the pets. Other than Simba and Nana, all the others were quite familiar. Chun Zhao looked around and then dragged Kane to the side. Kane, when is that old bastard getting out of here? Chen, I don't know. Kane looked helplessly at Qin Zhao. He wanted to run away too. It wasn't like he wanted to live under the same roof as Qin Zhao. I'll book a hotel for you three tomorrow, Qin Zhao said. You three go live there. Okay. Kane felt freed. He completely agreed with Chun Zhao's suggestion. And if that bastard has anything planned for me, make sure to let me know. Got it. If you three dare to get involved, our grapevines need some more fertilizer. Kane paled. Qin Zhao might not actually turn them into fertilizer, but he would definitely bury them. What are you two muttering about? The meat is almost burnt. I haven't seen Kane in forever. I missed him. It's only been 2 months. Since when were you two this close? Laurent rolled his eyes at Chun Zhao. Kane hasn't healed completely. I'm asking about his injuries. Anyway, Chun Zhao and Laurent never agreed with each other and kept bickering. After the barbecue, Fei Lai was busy with cleaning up. Chun Zhao led the four on a tour of the basement. Fei, this is too much. Laurent sounded sour. The outer wall was entirely a curved piece of glass. It was probably very expensive. Chun Zhao didn't reply because it was true. Of the entire mansion, this glass wall was probably the most expensive. What's with this skeleton? What animal is this? Kane had a blank expression too. Is this some prehistoric skeleton that you dug out of somewhere? Idiots, Chun Zhao said, rolling his eyes. It's a model. To be honest, Chun Zhao was anticipating what Laurent could plan this time. And then he'd have a reason to fight back. Chun, are you familiar with hip problems? It was rare for Laurent to ask a serious question. Chun Zhao looked at him with confusion. You hurt your hip? Have you been doing that too much? Shut up. I'm doing great and I'm not hurt. It's my friend. I can't say anything before seeing the patient. Can you go to the hospital with me tomorrow? Laurent sounded like he was pleading. It was rare for Laurent to ask Chun Zhao of something, so he thought for a bit and agreed. You didn't set up some trap in the hospital for me to jump into, right? Fuck off. I'm not that bored. As if I'll believe that. With Laurent here, Chun Zhao couldn't sleep at night. He wouldn't be able to sleep peacefully as long as this old bastard was here. The next day when Fei Lai went to work, she told Chun Zhao to take care of Laurent. Take care of Laurent? Did that old thing need to be taken care of? After breakfast, Chun Zhao, Laurent, and the 3 bodyguards went straight to the hospital. Which hospital? The one that Four's in? Chantilly? Yeah, and I can go see Four too? When they reached Chantilly, Four was already waiting at the door. My lovely daughter. Laurent went up to hug Four. Did you miss Daddy? No, Four replied monotonously. Four wouldn't play along with Laurent like Fei Lai. She said whatever she wanted to say and didn't care about Laurent's ego. I came all the way to the hospital to see you. You hurt me. Stop acting in front of me. I'm not Fei Lai. Four looked annoyed. Okay, can you take me to see my friend? You all go in first, Chun Zhao said. I need to park the car. After parking it in the lot, he got out of the car and was hit in the shoulder. But the tall and thin guy who hit Chun Zhao didn't apologize. He walked forward without even looking at Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao frowned, but this wasn't strange. There were impolite people anywhere. Just then, the man seemed to realize he forgot something. He patted himself and then came back. He bumped into Chun Zhao again. This time, Chun Zhao didn't go easy on him. When the tall and thin guy hit Chun Zhao, it was like running into a wall. He fell to the ground. Chun Zhao loomed over and shot him a glance. Then he walked around, lips curled. Hey, stop. The guy stood up and ran over to grab Chun Zhao's shoulder. Shouldn't you apologize if you hit someone? You hit me. I didn't hit you. You looking for a fight? Chun Zhao glanced at him with eyes filled with scorn. To be honest, even his past self could pummel this guy to death, let alone in his superhuman state now. Can you beat me? Chun Zhao reached out and jabbed the guy's chest. The guy stumbled back. Fuck you. The guy raised his fist and came punching at Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao grabbed his hand and started twisting slowly. Pain. Let go, let go. You're gonna break my arm. Chun Zhao finally let go of the guy, but when he turned around, the guy suddenly kicked Chun Zhao from behind. Even with his back to him, Chun Zhao still knew what he was doing. He moved to the side while turning and punching. Blood started spurting out of the guy's nose. Chapter 585. Speak Softly. Chapter 585. Speak Softly. What are you doing? Just then, a few people came over. Marin, what happened? That fucker hit me. He hit me. The tall and skinny guy named Marin cried out, pointing at Chun Zhao. His nose was still spewing blood. Chun Zhao glanced at the men. They were wearing regular clothes. They probably weren't doctors or workers here. The leader was in his early 30s and had his hands stuffed in his pockets. He was dressed nicely and had a light smile on his face. Some of the men behind him were burly while the others looked scholarly. Qin Zhao couldn't figure out their backgrounds. However, he didn't back down either. As long as they didn't have guns, he wasn't afraid of going up against them. He deserved a beating, Qin Zhao said indifferently. The leader laughed out loud. Yes, that asshole deserves a beating. I guess he caused trouble for you. Sorry. Qin Zhao was a bit surprised. This guy was easier to talk to than expected. Hi, I'm the CEO of Sven Arts Company, Quincy Slanch. Hi. Qin Zhao shook hands with Quincy. You can call me Chun. His hands were strong but a bit rough. Could someone with those hands be the boss of an arts company? Quincy walked over to Marin and kicked him. Get up. Stop embarrassing me, you asshole. I didn't tell you to come so you could cause trouble. I still have other things, so I'll take my leave, Qin Zhao said. Goodbye. Quincy was still polite as he watched Qin Zhao's back. Boss, why didn't you let me teach that guy a lesson? Marin asked unhappily. Crack. Quincy turned with a backhanded slap. Marin was sent flying. Quincy smoothed his clothes. When can you act properly? We have to keep a low profile instead of causing trouble wherever we go. Marin was hit and didn't dare to make another sound. He followed obediently behind Quincy. You're so slow with whatever you do, Laurent complained. Parking a car takes as long as a surgery. If you keep talking, I'll send you to the surgery room. Look at this bastard. Do you think Feilai would be bullied by him? Laurent instantly went to complain. Already knew that Qin Zhao and Laurent didn't have a smooth relationship. She didn't feel like talking to them and rolled her eyes at Laurent. It's none of your business. Can you stop Feilai if she wants to be with Qin? Stop causing trouble. You're all bullying me. Laurent's face was filled with anger. Okay, which room is your friend in? Was getting impatient. Zone B, room 450. 4th floor, take a left after the elevator, 5th room. Said, I still have other work. Go over by yourself. With that, left with her hands in her pockets. Your own fault, Qin Zhao said gleefully. Laurent looked at Four's back with an unhappy expression. They found room 450 in Zone B. Laurent pushed the door open and went in. This was a shared room with 6 patients. A sand. Laurent was super loud and just started calling out to his friend. Qin Zhao saw a bald guy in one of the beds. He looked a bit familiar for some reason. Where did Qin Zhao see him before? The bald guy looked at Laurent and also started yelling, Speak softly. This is a hospital room. Qin Zhao was speechless. People really did turn into their friends. Where's your big beard? Haha. Laurent went to the bed and started laughing at the bald guy's clean face. He even annoyingly went to touch Hassan's chin. Hassan lost his temper and tried to hit Laurent, but he couldn't get up. He glanced at the people behind Laurent. Finally, his eyes landed on Qin Zhao. It's you. You know me? Qin Zhao thought they indeed had met before. It's you. It's because of you that I got run over. If not for you, I wouldn't be laying here. I don't remember running someone over. He would believe it if the guy said he was sent to the hospital by getting beat up. But it was bullshit to say that Qin Zhao had run him over. Qin Zhao drove slowly and followed all the rules. Did you forget? It was outside Beverly Hills. I was riding a motorbike, and you drove an SUV. I kicked your door. Everyone looked at Qin Zhao. This was like suicide. With Qin Zhao's temper, running the guy over was normal. Oh, I remember. You're the rider. It finally made sense to Qin Zhao. That's not my fault. Plus, I'm the one who called the ambulance for you. But Hassan had a big beard before. Now that he'd shaved his beard, he was just a fat old man. That was why Qin Zhao couldn't recognize him. It's your fault, but I don't blame you. I don't need your forgiveness. Qin Zhao's expression darkened. This had nothing to do with him. That asshole had gotten hit after running a red light. And the person responsible had run away. Sand, he's a doctor. He's here to help you. Kid, you can help me stand up again? I've been laying in bed for almost 2 months. I think I'm rotting away. Wait. Qin Zhao picked up the records hanging on the side of the bed. He'd cracked his pelvis and had many serious injuries all over. The cracked pelvis was the main thing. Usually, this kind of injury could heal with enough time. But Asand wasn't young anymore, so he healed very slowly. A young person would be able to move normally in around a month. But Asand had been laying there for 2 months, and he didn't have any obvious signs of recovery. Of course, this was also due to the severity of his injuries. With this rate of recovery, he'd probably have to lay around for half a year. For someone of his age, he would waste away in half a year. Without enough exercise, his body could weaken and his muscles could go through dystrophy. Laurent, are you paying for his clinic fee? Fuck, you want to take my money? You want me to tell Feilai? It doesn't matter if you tell her, Qin Zhao said matter-of-factly. I wouldn't take your money if you fall from the 2nd floor and disable your lower body. Laurent, who is he to you? My daughter's boyfriend? Oh, I remember, Qin Zhao suddenly said. He flirted with Feilai 4 months ago. Fuck, Asand. You're bullying my daughter? You fucker, when did I flirt with Laurent's daughter? Remember that night we had a fight and went to the police station? One of the girls was Laurent's daughter, my girlfriend. I never flirted. You beat up my men. Chapter 586, Private Property is Inviolable. Chapter 586, Private Property is Inviolable. Qin Zhao vaguely remembered a biker gang harassing Feilai, and then they started fighting. But fighting in a bar was pretty normal. Instead, Qin Zhao remembered that he'd gotten beat up badly. Of course, they all got taken to the police station in the end. Qin Zhao didn't really care about it. Drinking some horse piss, losing your mind, and going to a pretty girl to ask for her number or treat her to a drink was an everyday thing at a bar. Who would get into a blood rivalry over something like this? Laurent tugged relentlessly on Asand's patient uniform, insisting on him apologizing. Qin Zhao just stood to the side and watched the show. Kareem, Kane, and Howard were speechless. Qin Zhao was obviously just causing trouble. And Laurent was always soft for his daughter. When he heard this, his brain stopped working. You guys shut up. A nurse came over and stood in the doorway. Someone reported you guys for being too loud and disturbing the other patients. Those who reported them must be the patients in the same room. Laurent finally let go of Asand. After the nurse left, another group soon came from outside. It was that Quincy and his underlings. When Asand saw them, he instantly started yelling, "Get the fuck out! Stop bothering me!" But Quincy brought his men to the bed. Mr. Asand, we come with sincerity. If you're willing to compromise, we can pay you $100,000. Fuck off. You assholes made me lay here for 2 months. I'll have him rot in jail for 2 years. Reckless driving, a hit and run, and personal injury added together meant at least 2 years. The perpetrator also broke traffic rules, so he would take most of the responsibility. Old thing, don't go looking for trouble, Marin yelled, pointing at Asand. You're lucky to get $100,000. Laurent frowned. Get the fuck out. You're disturbing my friend. You old. Just as Marin started talking, he was lifted from the ground. Qin Zhao grabbed him with both hands, lifting him high in the air. Quincy finally realized that Qin Zhao was here too. Sir, we meet again? Yeah. Qin Zhao smiled at him. As expected, they weren't good guys. Is Asand your friend? It doesn't matter. I don't want him to be disturbed. If you know Mr. Asand, why don't you help me persuade him? Quincy maintained a gentle smile, but Qin Zhao felt like he was a toxic snake. His smile didn't make Qin Zhao feel any warmth. Instead, Qin Zhao was subconsciously guarded against him. What he decides is his right, Qin Zhao said. I don't think any outsider has the right to force him to do anything. All right, Asand. I still hope you can think about it. $100,000 isn't a small sum, after all. Fuck off, assholes. Asand's reply was as straightforward as always. He also had rich body language, like his middle finger. Quincy left with his men, shooting a glance at Qin Zhao before leaving. Who are they? Laurent asked. I don't know, Asand said, but they're on the same side as the guy who ran into me. They came 4 or 5 times and keep hoping that I'll drop the lawsuit. They don't look like a gang, Laurent said. They're not good people, Asan said. Whatever, let's stop caring about them. Chun, give Asan a checkup. We decided that you'll pay for the clinic, right? Okay. I don't know what Failai sees in you, Laurent complained. Asan's condition is actually stabilized and doesn't need any special treatment. He only needs to lay in bed for around 2 months, and he can walk again. No, Asan cried out. I don't want to lay around for 2 more months. I don't even want to stay for 2 more days. Chun, can you make him walk faster? Yes. It depends on how much you're willing to pay. What if it's $100? Laurent asked shamelessly. I can make him stay bedridden for life. Chun Zhao rolled his eyes. Fine. What about $1,000? He paid the hospital more than $1,000, right? I don't know how much I paid because I have insurance. Anyway, I already got $300,000 from this accident. No wonder Quincy offered $100,000 in compensation. Then $10,000, Laurent said. That's all I have. I can have him walk again within 2 weeks. Can it be faster? Asan asked. Then, add more money? No. Asan refused immediately. Qin Zhao thought that he didn't care about money, but he was a stingy guy too. Just then, Kane suddenly patted Chun Zhao's shoulder. What? Chun, is that your car? Kane pointed outside the window. They could see the parking lot from here. Chun Zhao saw that Quincy's men were destroying his car at the moment. Furious, Chun Zhao jumped out of the window. Chun, what are you doing? Chun Zhao jumped straight out. Everyone in the room was floored. This was the 4th level. He'd probably disable himself by jumping down. Kane rushed to the window and saw that Chun Zhao had landed safely. Chun Zhao was completely furious. He charged at the parking lot like a wild bull. Those guys are dead, Laurent said. Kane, Kareem, and Howard had the same expression. Those guys were practically committing suicide. They didn't know that they'd angered a lion. Right now, Quincy stood to the side, still with his gentle smile. He watched his men smash Qin Zhao's car. Marin was working the hardest. But then, Quincy felt a gust of wind, and then a figure rushed into the group of people. Thud. Marin's frail body shot into the air and flew meters away. He smashed into the windshield of a car in the back, embedding into it entirely. Everyone looked at Chun Zhao. There was a murderous look in his eyes. Quincy, you better give me an explanation. Mr. Chen, do you know how long you'll be sentenced for intentional harm? Quincy still had that gentle smile. Then, do you know that there's a law in America that states that private property is inviolable and killing is allowed? A murderous intent flashed in Chun Zhao's eyes. A gun was pointed at the back of his head. Quincy's expression still didn't change. He smiled at Qin Zhao. If you die, then we'll be able to tell the judge that it was self-defense. Chapter 587, Anime Organization DK. Chapter 587, Anime Organization DK. Bang! Qin Zhao moved his head instantly. Even with his back to the shooter, he could still accurately determine the instant the trigger was pulled. He also swept backward, kicking the shooter's neck. The man fell to the ground with a twisted neck, dead. Qin Zhao never even looked back at him. However, these people's violence was quite unexpected. They actually dared to take out their guns in broad daylight and even fire. Qin Zhao had thought that they would only threaten him. He'd never thought about actually killing someone. He just wanted to teach them a lesson. But now, he was completely furious. Qin Zhao stared coldly at Quincy. You know what happens to people who point a gun at my head? Quincy's pupils constricted. This Asian was dangerous. Mr. Chun, how about you just let this go now? You killed one of my men. No. Qin Zhao saw another guy stab at him with a dagger. He turned, pulled, and grabbed. The man's neck was in Qin Zhao's hands. Quincy's expression changed. Don't. Crack. Quincy looked at the body on the ground. His expression was furious. Chun Zhao realized that Quincy had a different attitude toward his subordinates. His reaction had been normal when Chen Zhao had killed the shooter. But after the second died, he became furious. "You bitch, I'm going to kill you." Quincy finally lost his earlier composure. Chun Zhao had already charged at Quincy. The man raised his arm to stop Chun Zhao's attack. But the next moment, Chun Zhao's fist had snapped both of Quincy's arms. He yelled out in pain. He didn't think Chun Zhao would be so strong. Chun Zhao kicked again and Quincy slammed into the car behind him. The car door was entirely distorted. By now, the remaining four turned to run. They weren't good at fighting, but they were quite skilled at running. As if they discussed this earlier, they instantly split into different directions. They took twists and turns in the parking lot, disappearing in seconds. Chun Zhao looked at Quincy. He wasn't dead yet, but he was very badly hurt. Blood foamed at his mouth and his arms hung limply before him. "Do you still think you can kill me?" But then Quincy smiled gently. He looked at Chun Zhao without talking. Of course, he couldn't talk at all now. The police came, as well as the doctors. There were 2 dead and 2 injured. The tall and thin Marin actually survived. This surprised Chun Zhao. There were security cameras in the park and many witnesses, so it wasn't hard to get things clear. Whether it was because his car got smashed or someone held a gun to Chun Zhao's head, it was reasonable for him to fight back. "Fuck, that guy is so strong." Ignoring his pain, Asand leaned against the window to watch. "Thank God I didn't fight him one-on-one before." "You wanted to fight him?" "Whatever, let's not talk about this," Asand denied. What a joke. If he mentioned that Chun Zhao had wanted to fight him one-on-one before the car accident, Chun Zhao might want a friendly match again. As for Kane, Kareem, and Howard, they'd been sent to the ground by Chun Zhao the first time they met. They didn't want to think about those memories either. After getting questioned, Chun Zhao returned to the hospital room. "Hey, what are you guys talking about?" "I'm hungry." "Me too." "Same. I need 3-4 drops this noon." Chun Zhao looked around. "Why are you guys like this?" "It was self-defense." Okay, he was indeed losing control of his emotions these days. From now on, he would meditate and calm down. At the door, Chun Zhao said, "Laurent, those aren't nice people. You should take Asand out of the hospital." "That's right. Your place is good. I'll bring him to stay with you." "You want to bring danger to Feilai? Just say it if you don't want me to live with you." "I don't want you to live with me. You asshole. You told me to say it." Chun Zhao looked up at Laurent. It was already annoying that Laurent disrupted their 2-person world, but since he was Feilai's father, Chun Zhao could manage. He planned on sending Kareem, Kane, and Howard to the hotel today. But instead of them leaving, another stranger was coming and Chun Zhao wasn't exactly willing. Plus, Asand should have his own home too. You said he's in danger. You should be sympathetic. "I'd be happy to have him stay at my house if he's a little girl, but he's not. Aren't you afraid of me telling Feilai and letting her see how you truly are?" "I'd tell her that you made it up. I'll find a house myself." Laurent glared at Chun Zhao. "How long are you going to stay in LA? 4? "It depends on how long Winip will be out of the country for." Even though Laurent always threatened to show Feilai his true nature, they always acted friendly before Feilai. Just as they were talking at the door, a group of police officers walked over. "They're here for you," Laurent said gleefully. "They're going to arrest you." These officers all looked serious. They dressed differently from the LA police that Chun Zhao usually saw. The leader wore regular clothes. The others had different uniforms and weapons. A couple of the officers in the back held silent submachines. "Hello, I am Thomas Riffer, in charge of the local Interpol branch. Are you Mr. Chan?" "Yes, I am." Then the leading police took Chun Zhao's hand. "Thank you for your contributions. You helped us catch Viper Quincy." "Viper Quincy? The one you handicapped? Who are they?" Chun Zhao asked. "A-class criminals wanted internationally. Viper Quincy is the second leader of the international crime organization Death Knight. They committed crimes in many countries, and more than 100 innocent people have died in their hands." "Wait, are you sure that their name is the Death Knight?" Yes, is there a problem? Are you sure they're a crime organization and not some anime club? You're not here to arrest this guy? Laurent was disappointed. Thomas looked at Laurent and then at Chun Zhao. And he is? Ignore him, Chun Zhao said, rolling his eyes. He's crazy. We wanted to ask how you got involved with him. Chun Zhao described everything. Thomas arched an eyebrow. Go check the identity of the perpetrator. See if he has a fake ID. Do you know why they're here? Chun Zhao asked. There are some special members in DK. They're top experts in some field and have irreplaceable positions, so they would usually try their best to protect them. Chun Zhao thought of the two that he'd killed. Viper Quincy didn't even react when he killed the first. But when he killed the second, Quincy had been furious. Chapter 588, Interpol. Chapter 588, Interpol. Mr. Chun, we suspect that DK has something big planned in LA. We hope that you can cooperate with us to destroy DK's plan and capture their leader. How should I cooperate with you? Chun Zhao asked. This time, you made DK suffer great losses. They often take revenge, so they'll definitely take revenge on you. We hope that we can surround your home and control it entirely. Sorry, no, Chun Zhao refused directly. Why? Don't you want the Interpol to protect you and your family's safety? Does the Interpol have really pretty personal bodyguards for me and my girlfriend? If not, then no thanks. I don't accept any kind of protection. Also, please don't get close to my house or the surrounding area. I have the right to expel you. This was a prime example of conversation killers. Mr. Chin, they're a crime organization, not the typical gang. I know you're a good boxer, but sometimes a bullet will take your life. Bye, Chun Zhao said, rolling his eyes. Mr. Chun, you'll come find me by yourself? Thomas Riffer said. Asand was a standard vagrant. He didn't have a home at all. He didn't have family either, so he just slept wherever he rode his motorcycle to. Usually, he stayed in a restaurant or bar. Occasionally, he would spend the night in a motel. After Laurent brought Asand out, he chattered non-stop about how merciless Chun Zhao was. Laurent, shut up. Asand yelled loudly too. You're so annoying. Fuck you. You're already disabled, and your temper is still so bad. Yeah, this is my temper. You got a problem? Kane sat in the back, right between them. His head was about to explode from these two loud guys. Kareem and Howard sat in the front, and they were better off, but they were still annoyed. But they didn't have Chun Zhao's guts to yell back whenever they were annoyed. Laurent brought Asand into the hotel. Asand, spend a few days here? How much is one night? $400. Why? You want to pay me? No. Give me the $400. It's the same if I spend the night at a bar. Fuck you. A policewoman walked into Thomas's office with some files. Thomas, we checked. The person who was arrested is from DK. His alias is Engineer, a Class A internationally wanted criminal. He's caused many accidents before. Most of the deaths from DK were caused by him. He used a fake ID with the name Ferrokirk. He works at an electricity company as a repairman. Thomas looked at the files for a long while. Does DK want something from the electricity company? I wouldn't know. Go to the local police station and take the engineer out. I want to interrogate him personally. Sir, many people from DK has been showing up in LA in the past 3 months. I'm afraid they'll have action here. That's what I'm worried about too, Thomas said. But we don't even know what their goal is. I'm hoping to get some information from the engineer. Maybe we can try something on that Chinese guy, the policewoman said. What? It's not like we can break into his private property, Thomas said helplessly. Even though they were the Interpol and had powerful rights, they still had to follow each nation's laws. If they really broke into someone's property and got shot, they wouldn't even have the right to fight back. Thomas rubbed his forehead. Whatever. Get the engineer out first and add more people to the hospital. Make sure the Viper Quincy and Thief won't get broken out. Just then, another subordinate ran in. Thomas, Viper, and Thief disappeared. One of the doctors died. What? Thomas shot to his feet in disbelief. How did they escape? I don't know. The hospital's security footage was all erased. We can't find any clues or how they even started it. Hurry, send more people to extract the engineer. Hello, we're from Interpol. We need to extract someone imprisoned here. David looked up and saw a beautiful girl. He looked back and saw more people, all wearing Interpol uniforms. He accepted the ID and made another call to check that nothing was wrong with the ID number. Who do you need to extract? Pharaoh Kirk? Who is he? Confidential. I can't tell you. David couldn't do anything. His police system was under the American FBI and wasn't directly related to Interpol. But Interpol had the right to take prisoners from them. David brought Interpol to the cells. This is Pharaoh Kirk. Pharaoh raised his head and shock flashed past his face. When David saw him, he furrowed his brows. Pharaoh's expression wasn't obvious, but he seemed happy. Please open the door. David glanced at the people behind the woman. Can I see everyone else's IDs too? Of course. A big guy came forward. The next moment, he pulled a gun out of his pocket. David cried out inside and tried to jump to the side. But when he was in the air, the man fired. Pew, pew. David took several bullets instantly and fell into a pool of blood. These people started firing directly and destroyed the electric lock. We should go. The woman looked up at the security camera. Since they destroyed the lock, the police would definitely know. Just then, the outer wall of the detention center exploded. A man stood outside. He had a mohawk and was chewing gum. Brothers miss me? Shut up and hurry, the big guy said, or else we'll have a shootout in a police station. When the woman walked past David, she paused and said gently, Mr. Officer, you're my type. With that, the woman gave David another bullet. Real life wasn't like movies. In movies, the main characters wouldn't get shot even if bullets rained down on them. But reality wasn't like that. Chapter 589. You betrayed me. Chapter 589. You betrayed me. Qin Zhao's phone rang. He looked at the number. It was Kate, but why would she call him? Chun. Kate's choked voice traveled from the other end of the call. Hearing her crying voice, Qin Zhao thought, no way. Did Kate fight with David? Or did they break up directly? And Kate wants me to comfort her? No, I can't touch my bro's girl. Qin Zhao was imagining things by himself. Kate, what's wrong? Did you argue with David? David's in the hospital. Kate started crying again. What's wrong? Is he sick? He got shot, a serious injury. He's in the emergency room. Qin Zhao shot to his feet. What exactly happened? I don't know. I don't know anything. I heard that he got shot in the police station. What? How is that possible? In the police station? Qin Zhao quickly asked, which hospital is he in? He hurried over to the hospital. Kate and a dozen police officers, including Sharon, were at the door. Chun. These officers had interacted with Qin Zhao before, so they nodded or greeted him. Qin Zhao glanced at Sharon. She nodded as well. Kate pulled Qin Zhao to the side. There was inextinguishable anger shining in Kate's tears. Qin, I want to kill the people who hurt David. You'll help me, right? No matter what problems they had, their feelings were still genuine. The problems were due to their personalities, but they still loved each other. Now that David was hurt, how could Kate calm down? I want to kill him with my own bare hands. Kate, calm down. I trust that David's colleagues will arrest him. Kate looked at Qin Zhao. Chun, I have a USB. It has a video of someone in a Spider-Man costume climbing CL building on January 3rd. Kate, that's not nice. I'm not threatening you. I just think that, since you have the ability, you shouldn't do nothing. Kate stared straight at Qin Zhao. Okay, I promise you. I won't do nothing, but I have no ideas now either, Qin Zhao said helplessly. I asked David's colleagues. They said a group of criminals disguised themselves as Interpol agents and snuck into the police station. They wanted to rescue a prisoner. David discovered this, and that's why he was shot. Do we know the prisoner's identity? A hit and run. He's charged for dangerous driving and injury to others. Hit and run. Chen Zhao narrowed his eyes. Could it be him? You know him? I killed and hurt some people at the hospital today, Chen Zhao said. What's going on? DK? Yes. Just then, Thomas brought people over. Hey, Mr. Chun, how come you're here? Wait. Chen Zhao looked at Thomas's group. What's wrong? Something wrong with me? Are you really Interpol? Of course. Is there any reason to doubt us? My friend was hurt by you, Interpol. Are you friends with the injured officer? Thomas asked. I know about it already. We came just to ask about the situation. Ask about the situation? Chen Zhao sneered. We should be the ones asking. At that moment, Sharon and the other police officers walked over too. Let me ask you, Sharon demanded. Earlier, David checked someone's ID, and it said their name was Tauris Beck. He also contacted the L.A. office of the Interpol, and they said that they'd indeed sent someone to release the prisoner. But in the end, Tauris Beck is a criminal. I'm Tauris Beck. A woman beside Thomas stood out. My identity was stolen. While David called for verification, we indeed left and were on the way to the police station. In other words, there's a mole in Interpol, Sharon said, looking at the group. We haven't excluded that possibility. This is why we hope your station can work with us and catch the criminal together. We won't work with you. Sharon had become the representative of her station. You haven't even gotten rid of your mole. Why should we work with you? Come talk to us after you've searched yourself clearly and catch the mole. We have a lot of intel on DK. Don't you want it? Sharon and the officers hesitated. In the police system, killing or hurting an officer would lead to their systematic return. All the officers would take revenge crazily. This was why the gangs weren't willing to attack or kill officers. Everyone in the station was furious now. It would be a lie to say that they didn't want to capture the criminal. However, they didn't even know who it was. They were like headless flies. Chun, what should we do? Work with them? No, we'll find him ourselves, Chen Zhao murmured. At that moment, the surgery room opened. Everyone crowded over, and Kate immediately latched onto the doctor. Doctor, how is David? His life isn't at risk, but he's still too weak. I suggest you all don't disturb him now. Hearing the doctor's words, Chen Zhao was also relieved. Everything was all right if he survived. David was still unconscious, so Chen Zhao and Kate couldn't go in and look. Chen Zhao asked the doctor some professional questions. After confirming that he wouldn't have any lasting effects, he told it all to Kate. Chen, you have to help David find those assholes? Yes, I'll do everything I can to find him for you. Laurent, are you going out by yourself? Yeah, Laurent said. I want to walk around. I'll go with you, Kane said. No, I know that you're on that bastard side now. You've already betrayed me. I don't want 3 traitors following me. Lawrence's voice was filled with anger. Kane, Kareem, and Howard were all speechless. Why are you so dramatic? What good is there to follow you? It's not like you pay us. And you always run off alone when we're on your side. These 3 had been fucked over by Laurent long ago. This time, they were determined not to be on Lawrence's side. I don't need you 3. I have my own ways. I will succeed. Chapter 590, Being Stupid Again. Chapter 590, Being Stupid Again. Laurent came to an abandoned and remote neighborhood. There was no one here. He took out his phone. Pamela, I'm outside the neighborhood. Okay, wait there for me. A moment later, an old woman came outside. Her face was extremely pale, and her hair was messy. She wore a flowery dress that looked ancient. She was like a ghost from movies. Fuck. You. Seeing her, Laurent wanted to turn and run. Laurent, come back. The woman couldn't catch up, so she could only yell from the back. It's me, Pamela. Hearing her voice, Laurent stopped and looked at her hesitantly. You're Pamela? You really are Pamela? Yes. Laurent studied the old woman before him. He honestly couldn't believe that the pretty woman from 20 years ago would turn into this state. However, she really did have traces of Pamela. How did you turn into this? Pamela was a few years younger than him. How could she look so old? Pamela straightened and ripped off the fake mask she had on. She instantly brightened. Even though she was a bit older, she wasn't as scary as before. Why did you do that to yourself? Laurent finally confirmed that it was Pamela. I can't help it, Pamela said helplessly. For our field, you have to do that to make people believe you're an experienced spiritualist. So are you. Of course. Laurent still doubted it. Pamela had said that she was a spiritualist since they first met each other, but he still didn't really believe it. Come, let's go inside to talk. Laurent followed behind Pamela and looked at the barren neighborhood. He was pretty sure that no one lived here. Rather, Pamela lived here by herself. How come you live here? Duh. Have you ever seen a spiritualist live in a fancy apartment? Plus, the rent for here is only $300 per month. Laurent felt that the second was the true reason. And most people feel like old witches should live in places like this, right? Pamela pushed open the door. Laurent pressed the light switch, but no light came on. How come it's not on? Is it broken? No electricity. No electricity? Do you get blackouts often? They've turned off the electricity for this neighborhood long ago. Then, how do you live? You can't even cook, right? Food delivery. Pamela's answer destroyed all of her mysteriousness. While speaking, she pulled aside the curtains. The living room was instantly brighter. There were many strange items in the living room, along with some bookshelves. I have to stay mysterious when people visit me usually, so the room has to be dark, Pamela said. Oh, why did you come and find me this time? You really are a spiritualist, right? Of course. Are you doubting me? Then, can you summon spirits? Laurent asked. That's what a death speaker does. I can't do it. Then, what can you do? If you want to summon spirits, I can introduce you to someone, but I need to take a fee. Laurent was speechless. Can you do curses? Those are poisoned spiritualists. Pamela looked at him. Do you have some enemy? I have a mortal enemy. How bad is it? He stole my daughter. Pamela almost flipped the table over. After all this time, it's your son-in-law, right? If you can take care of him for me, I'll pay you $10,000. Hearing $10,000, Pamela was tempted. To what extent? Kill him? That's not necessary. Just scare him. It's best if he can surrender to me. Pamela finally understood. It was just an in-law rivalry. She thought about it. How about this? Bring him to my neighborhood. Oh, it has to be at midnight. Why? Laurent asked. Are we going to have people hide here? That's not necessary. That guy is really good at fighting. Even a dozen guys won't be able to beat him. I'm not that lowly. Plus, hiring hitters costs money. Then, what do you have planned? The media didn't report it because they didn't want to cause panic. Then what? More than 100 people died in the epidemic. Are you saying it's haunted? Later, developers bought the land from the government for a new project, but accidents kept happening, so the project had to stop. Are there really ghosts? Even I'm too scared to go out at night, Pamela said. Is it really that scary? Of course. If I call that asshole here, will he die here? That's why you should call him here at midnight. Usually, the evil spirits that walk around will hide after 1 a.m. They won't cause trouble. Also, having him come alone is the safest. If there are two people, the evil spirits might possess or trick one to make them kill each other. Are you sure it's okay? It's okay. I've lived here for so long and figured everything out. Pamela looked confidently at Laurent. Oh, right. Order food delivery. Why? Aren't you going to eat dinner? I didn't say I'll stay, Laurent said. You don't want to stay and see your in-law cry in fear? Laurent looked at Pamela. You just want to get free food, right? It's getting late, Pamela said. Hurry and call for food, or else they won't come if it's too late. Laurent picked up his phone and ordered 2 food deliveries. When he hung up, he saw a key hanging from Pamela's neck. What's that key for? Chapter 591. Are you dead? Chapter 591. Are you dead? You mean this key? Pamela tugged at the key hanging on her neck. My teacher gave it to me. Why are you suddenly asking me this? My wife seemed to have a key like that too, but it's made out of gold. She gave it to that bastard. Pamela shook the key in her hands. Too bad. Why isn't mine made out of gold? It's too weird to have a key hanging from your neck. You wouldn't say that if your wife does that. Pamela rolled her eyes at Laurent. A while later, the food delivery arrived at the entrance of the neighborhood. Pamela went out to pick it up. Laurent waited leisurely, but Pamela just wouldn't return. He was bored, so he took a book off of the shelf. This was a very ancient book. The cover had already cracked, and he couldn't read the title clearly. He opened to a random page and saw a picture. It had images of 13 keys with different colors. But he couldn't read the words on the bottom. Rather than words, they were more like pictures. Laurent had never seen such a strange written script before. It wasn't far, so why hadn't Pamela come back yet? Laurent looked out the window. It was getting late and the sun had set. He picked up his phone to call Pamela. But what he heard was, the number you called does not exist. What? He just called her earlier. How come the number didn't exist anymore? Laurent decided to go out to find Pamela. But when he walked out, his foot sank. The wooden floorboard had caved in. He took his foot out and discovered something inside. What's this? He picked it up. It was a dust-covered box. Opening it, he saw that it was filled with pictures of him, a sand, and Pamela when they were young. Clink. A key fell onto the ground. Laurent picked it up and studied it. Wasn't this the key hanging from Pamela's neck? How come it was here? Was it just the same type? Laurent saw that the bedroom door was half open. He pushed it open and entered. A sour smell flooded out. The bed, chairs, table, and closet in the bedroom were covered in dust. Creak. The closet was half open too and made piercing sounds. He pulled open the door. It was filled with familiar clothes that Pamela had worn before. But they were covered in dust too. He didn't know how long they'd been hanging here. Laurent shuddered suddenly. No, it looked like no one had lived here in decades. Laurent wanted to run out of the house, but he heard a noise outside. Pamela had come back, but instead of feeling relieved, Laurent felt even more terrified. Laurent, what's wrong? You look really scared. Did something happen? No, nothing. Laurent's expression was unnatural. Come eat, Pamela said. Pamela, you. Laurent gulped. Are you already dead? Laurent thought of what Pamela had said earlier. 12 years ago, there had been a plague here. More than 100 people had died. Was Pamela included in the 100 people? Fuck you. You're dead, Pamela swore. What are you talking about? But your place looks like no one lives here, right? Laurent wondered if he saw a ghost today. He didn't know if he was scaring himself, but it felt wrong after Pamela had left. It's obviously to make it seem more mysterious. You don't know how annoying my job is. We have to work to make people trust us. Are you sure? You're still alive, right? Pamela lifted her old leg and kicked Laurent. Stop bullshitting. Are you going to eat or not? If not, I'm going to finish by myself. Seeing Pamela's familiar action, Laurent suddenly laughed. It was that familiar feeling and familiar temper. After eating and drinking, Laurent and Pamela started reminiscing about their respective pasts and their mutual past. Unknowingly, it was nighttime. The neighborhood outside was pitch black without a speck of light. Pamela lit some candles. I remember back then when we were in that abandoned warehouse. You, me, a sand. We were like this too, lighting a fire and talking loudly. So many years have passed. Who fucking knew that a bum like that would become a politician? Pamela said, laughing. The last time the three of us met must have been 20 years ago. Yeah, you and Asand are both in LA. Haven't you two met? That old asshole is just like that, running around all day on his bike. We call occasionally, but I need to make money too. So we never met up. Laurent checked the time. They'd talked for more than 4 hours unknowingly. Hassan got into a car accident recently, did you know? No, he didn't tell me. How are his injuries? He can't stand yet. After a while, when he can stand up again, the three of us should meet up. It's about time, Pamela said. What time? Don't you want to prank your daughter's boyfriend? It's time to call him over. Now? No shit. Are you sure it'll work? Are you sure there are evil spirits here? I'm a psychic. You don't trust me? You just kept saying that you're a psychic, but I never saw you have any special ability. What do you think a psychic is? You want me to do magic tricks for you? Okay. Laurent picked up his phone and called Chen Zhao. Laurent, are you coming back tonight? Chen Zhao was demanding the moment he spoke. Chun, I'm at my friend's place and drank too much. Come pick me up. You think I'll care? Call a taxi. I'm in a remote place. There aren't any taxis. Then walk back. Chun Zhao didn't want to care about Laurent. Don't be like this, Chun. I'm Feilai's father. Chun Zhao was so annoyed. This old bastard always used this to threaten him. Did you prepare another trap for me? No, definitely not. I swear. It'll never happen. Plus, do you think my traps are effective on you? Okay, what's the address? Chun Zhao didn't believe Laurent. This old guy definitely prepared a trap for him to jump into. But Chun Zhao would like to see what he'd prepared. Chapter 592, Overly Sentimental. Chapter 592, Overly Sentimental. I'm at the entrance. You can come out now. Chun Zhao was calling Laurent. Does anyone live here? Why is it so dark? Chun, I drank too much. Come help me out. You sound normal, though. It's true. How come there's no sound over there? Are all your friends drunk? They're chatting on the side. They're all old. Do you want to hear them talk? Whatever. Chun Zhao could only get out of his car and enter the neighborhood to pick Laurent up. But as soon as he entered, he sensed something wrong. There was a smell of rot in the air. Suddenly, an evil spirit lunged at Chun Zhao with no warning. Chun Zhao raised his leg without even blinking. Ah! The evil spirit let out a scream and was scattered by Chun Zhao's kick. Another one came, and another. Fuck! Did I run into some evil spirit lair? He got rid of some evil spirits offhandedly. They were all average ones and weren't threatening at all. Chun Zhao basically killed one with each punch. There was no nonsense. He could feel that there were still many eyes on him. But they weren't willing to come out. Clearly, they were afraid of Chun Zhao. He didn't think the surroundings were threatening. It wasn't only humans who bullied the weak and were afraid of the strong. Evil spirits were the same. Obviously, Chun Zhao had killed a few evil spirits offhandedly. The others would be stupid to keep doing suicidal attacks. Chun Zhao walked straight toward the address that Laurent had mentioned. At the door, he looked inside. There was candlelight in the room, so it should be here, right? He knocked on the door. Inside, Laurent heard the knock. He looked at Pamela, who said indifferently, "Go open the door. Your in-law is here." "He's here? Didn't you say?" Suddenly, a gust of wind blew the candle out. Laurent shuddered because he saw Pamela's body was disappearing slowly, like the smoke dissipating from the candle. Pamela? Cold sweat beaded on Laurent's forehead. Ah! He suddenly screamed and rushed to the door. He saw Chun Zhao with his back to him. "Chun, save me." Chun Zhao turned around. Instead of seeing Chun Zhao's face, Laurent saw a terrifying face. Ah! Laurent fainted from fear. Fuck. If I'd known, I wouldn't have scared him. Chun Zhao was annoyed. He grabbed Laurent's arm and started walking out. Just then, a necklace fell out of his pocket. Chun Zhao picked it up to look. Another key? Was it the same as the other keys? Or was it just a coincidence? Whatever, he'd take it first. Chun Zhao didn't care if this was Laurent's personal item. Along the way, Laurent woke up in the back seat of the car. Where am I? The scene from before he fainted flashed through his mind. He suddenly realized something. Fuck. Chun, did you try scaring me earlier? Laurent, who were you with earlier? He suddenly turned green and his lips trembled. Chun, I think I met a ghost. Qinzhao wasn't too surprised at that. After all, the neighborhood wasn't normal. He met so many evil spirits with just a few steps. It would be even stranger if there was no problem. Tell me what happened. I met up with a friend I haven't seen in 20 years, but when you came, she suddenly disappeared. Oh, you saw a ghost? You don't believe me? Laurent looked angrily at Chen Zhao, who was driving. No, I believe you. You don't believe me. If you believed me, you wouldn't be so calm now. How do you think I should react? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. You didn't see anything when you came? Laurent felt like Chen Zhao still didn't believe him. Nope. Now, Laurent was even more annoyed. He'd wanted to scare Chen Zhao. But instead of scaring Chen Zhao, he was the one who got terrified. Laurent suddenly felt depressed. He felt around his pocket and took out a few old pictures. Are you crying? Chun Zhao glanced in the rearview mirror and saw Laurent wiping at his tears. Chun, do you think someone would appear before you after they die? Maybe. The topic suddenly turned heavy. Chun Zhao saw that Laurent was truly sad. Tell me about you and your friend. You won't believe me. I'll just take it as a story. Along the way, Laurent started reminiscing about the past. She said that there was an epidemic 12 years ago. Maybe she died then, Laurent said gravely. But it's okay. I can still meet my old friend. No matter what she turned into, she's still her. I'll tell Winip. You asshole. Back home, Laurent was still feeling down, so he went to look at the lakeside night view. Chen Zhao didn't care. Being sentimental was his own business. Chen Zhao didn't plan on wallowing with him. After showering, he went to his room. Fei Lai wasn't sleeping yet. He went up and hugged Fei Lai. Chen, I see Dad sitting at the side of the lake. Is he unhappy? He might have run into a ghost. Huh. It's okay. The ghost didn't have bad intentions. Chun Zhao rubbed against Fei Lai, stimulating her desire. He didn't think too much about it. He didn't care about Laurent, anyway. Just as he was about to do things with Fei Lai, Laurent started rapping on the door. Chun Zhao was instantly furious. When he opened the door, he saw Laurent's furrowed expression. Chun, drink with me. It's 1 a.m., Chun Zhao said with a dark expression. I feel empty. Do you want me to find you a girl? Since Winip isn't here. Fei Lai. Chun Zhao looked back at her. Fei Lai motioned for him to accompany her dad. Chun Zhao was very angry. Should he find someone to kill Laurent? That night, Laurent became very sentimental. He drank the purple brew for the first time and started sobbing. Chun Zhao just wanted to knock him out. One night was already unbearable. How could he take more nights? Fine, I give up. Laurent drank until 4 a.m. before he was finally tired. Chen Zhao tossed him onto the sofa and went back to his room to sleep. But he heard knocking in the early morning again. If Chen Zhao wasn't hugging the man's daughter at the moment, he would honestly kill him. Chen Zhao opened the door with a dark expression and glared at the old man. What? Chun, I want to go there again. Go with me. Are you crazy? You know there are ghosts, and you still want to go? Go if you want, but don't drag me along. Chapter 593, 13 Keys. Chapter 593, 13 Keys. Laurent, can we be a bit more normal? Where do you see ghosts? Chen Zhao grabbed Laurent's shoulder. Can't you just stay at home and enjoy your peaceful life? Fine, you don't have to go. I'll go by myself. You said that so loudly earlier just so Fei Lai would hear. Chen Zhao drove with a dark expression. Laurent hadn't said that for him. He'd said it for Fei Lai. Fei Lai was worried about Laurent going out to go find some ghosts, so Chen Zhao had to accompany him. Laurent was very proud. Chen Zhao had the urge to flatten him. Everyone said that it was a treasure to have an elder in the family, but Chen Zhao thought this old man was just shit. He was like a bad luck star. Laurent, did you forget how scared you were yesterday? I wasn't mentally prepared. Then, are you prepared now? It's okay. You're with me if we run into ghosts. Chun Zhao's expression darkened. He wasn't afraid, but Laurent's thoughts disgusted him. Then, do you want to see ghosts, or do you not? I do. I want to see her. Tell me the truth. Did you have a relationship with her before? Chun Zhao turned gossipy again. Are you thinking about reporting to Winip? When they reached the rural neighborhood, Laurent started shrinking into himself again. So cowardly. Chun Zhao rolled his eyes. You didn't see the ghosts. Laurent immediately refuted loudly. That's why you have the courage to say that. If you saw them, you'd probably be more scared than me. Chun Zhao looked around casually. The neighborhood was barren during the day, but this was normal. When they reached the small house, Laurent got scared again. Didn't you say you're not scared? Why did you stop? Laurent was hesitant, but he still opened the door. Chun Zhao touched his nose. It smelled like rotting wood. After entering, he looked around. He saw a book on the table and picked it up. Suddenly, his eyebrow arched. A lot of the content in the book was recorded in demon language. Laurent saw Chun Zhao holding the book. Can you read that? The words are so weird. I've never seen them before. Chun Zhao flipped through the book. It carried a faint aura of magic. The past owner should have been a spiritualist. However, no one had read it in a long time, so the aura was very faint. Chun Zhao's hand paused. He'd flipped to the page with 13 keys. On the bottom of the page, there was a passage written in the demon language. Every civilization has a final goal, to strive for eternity. Each key points to a door. Try and open the door. It will have the answer that you wish to know. It may be right. It may be wrong. You may be enlightened in the wrong. You may lose everything in the right. This passage was very difficult to understand. At least, Chun Zhao couldn't figure it out. He really hated things that were purposely deep and pretentious. Couldn't they just say what they wanted to? Why did they have to act so mysterious? Were they making fun of him for being uncultured? Hey, where did you put the book? Laurent had seen the book earlier, but when he turned around, Chun Zhao's hands were empty. I put it back on the shelf, Chun Zhao said. You're done, right? We should go. Chun, I saw there's a basement. Let's go down to look. Chun Zhao touched his forehead. You're not afraid of dying. The man was such a scaredy cat, but he insisted on doing stupid things. If you're afraid, you can go back. I'll go down by myself. Okay, go down by yourself? Wait, Chin, I'm giving you the chance to change my impression of you. No, don't change, Chun Zhao interrupted. Otherwise, it wouldn't be you. In my heart, you're a crabby old man. Just like how you don't like me, I don't like you either. Don't make any changes on your own. Laurent's face reddened in anger. If he was able to defeat Chun Zhao, he would definitely punch now. He stood at the basement door and hesitated for a while. Finally, he made his decision. He took a brave step toward the darkness. Slam. Laurent turned around and saw Chun Zhao. You want to scare me to death? Unfortunately, you didn't die. With Chun Zhao as his companion, Laurent gathered his courage. The basement was long covered in cobwebs and had random things piled around. Laurent suddenly screamed. Chun Zhao turned around and saw a skeleton behind a block that Laurent had pushed aside. Is this Pamela? That's not your Pamela. Why not? Judging from the bone structure, it should be a man's skeleton. It's at least 185 meters tall. Chun Zhao was a doctor. After all, he could still tell some things. Does this mean Pamela killed someone here? Chun Zhao couldn't answer, but as of now, he still hadn't seen Pamela's spirit. Usually, ghosts only came out at night. But from Laurent's earlier descriptions, Chun Zhao guessed that Pamela had been a witch. If a witch's soul remained in the human world after death, she may become even stronger than when she'd been alive. So, it wouldn't be strange if she could appear in the daytime. But Chun Zhao didn't really care. That witch didn't hurt Laurent. It meant that she didn't have the intention. Chen Zhao cared more about the 13 keys. The passage turned in his mind. If there really were 13 keys, then he should have 4 now. Did he have to collect all 13 to unravel the mystery? But where could he find the other keys? There wasn't a single clue. It was so headache-inducing. For some reason, he also felt like he should go find the other keys. But he didn't even know the use of these keys, let alone have any clues. Why should he go find them? But why did he want to? He felt really conflicted between his logic and impulse. Suddenly, Chen Zhao whipped his head around. A figure flashed past the entrance of the basement. It was a woman. Was she Pamela? Chen Zhao didn't see clearly. He'd never seen Pamela before either, so he didn't know if he saw her. "Let's go," Laurent said with disappointment. "It seems like Pamela isn't willing to see me. Or, she's already left." When Chen Zhao left the basement, he turned around again, looking into the darkness. She'd appeared in the darkness again. Chapter 594, There are no foolproof plans. Chapter 594, There are no foolproof plans. Chen Zhao furrowed his brows. In the darkness, Pamela was also looking at him. "You can see me?" Pamela watched him. "You aren't afraid of me?" Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. He waved his hand and turned to leave. Laurent was very disappointed that he couldn't see Pamela again. He'd gathered his courage to return to this place. But he couldn't do anything. Pamela wasn't willing to appear before him. Even if she did, Laurent wouldn't be able to see her. "Let's go. How about we wait a bit more? If you keep waiting, then I'll call Winip," Chen Zhao threatened. Chen Zhao was so done with him. How old was he, and he was still thinking about his crush. He was afraid that Laurent would divorce Winip and come harass him in Feilai. He just wanted to live peacefully with Feilai. Chen Zhao was already imagining things in his mind. In the end, Laurent left with Chen Zhao. "Where are we going now?" "Home." "And then?" "Sleep." After a pause, Laurent couldn't help but ask, "Nothing else? How about we mess with each other?" Laurent turned his head. He didn't want to tell Chen Zhao that he'd already messed with Chen Zhao yesterday. But it didn't seem to have been effective. As expected, using supernatural forces for a prank wasn't reliable. Chen Zhao looked at Laurent. "Are you hiding something from me?" "No. Didn't you say you'll help treat a sand?" "Not in the mood. I'll go when I'm in a better mood." Just then, Chen Zhao's phone rang. "Hey, Rasfa. Chen, do you want an invitation to the auction at Hilda Hotel on the 7th? Hearing that there was an auction, Laurent immediately cut in. "Yes. Prepare more than one." "Chun, is that your friend?" "Feilai's dad." "Okay, sir. How many?" "7 people." Chen Zhao was speechless. "No problem. I'll have Paul bring it to your house later?" "Okay." Chen Zhao was feeling worse. He hung up and shot a resentful look at Laurent. "You're going to stay until the 7th? You hate me this much?" "You already know the answer. And what 7 people do we have?" "You, me, Feilai, Kareem, Kane, Howard, and a sand. Then you're in charge of pushing the wheelchair. I'm not going to care about you." Chen Zhao knew that Laurent was just causing trouble for him. Hilda Hotel. A piercing alarm rang through the lobby. Many of the guests there were frightened. The guards and lobby manager hurried over. The manager went to the front desk. "What happened? Who set off the alarm?" "Manager, the alarm is broken. It goes off randomly." "Which company installed the security system?" "Big security company," the front desk staff said. "Call them and have them come check." 20 minutes later, a few uniformed men came to the front desk. "Are you the repairman from Hig?" "Yes. What is the problem?" "The alarm went off for no reason. Can you check what's wrong with it?" The manager led the repairman to the security room. The workers started checking the circuits, but there was something wrong with their gazes. But the manager didn't notice their subtle movements. "We fixed it. It was just a short circuit." The manager led them out of the security room. After the repairman left the hotel, they ducked right into a car. "Boss, we finished the deployment. On the day of the mission, you just need to press a button, and the hotel security system and surveillance equipment will all be shut off." Good. After this job, all of us will be able to retire. The DK boss nodded in satisfaction. Right. How's Quincy? Quincy's arms went through special treatment. He'll be able to work tomorrow. That's good. If he can't participate, then we'll have to change plans. Boss, Quincy keeps yelling about revenge. I already warned all of you before our mission to stay low-key. I thought that he'd know that if I let him lead the mission, but 10 days after the engineer landed in LA, he was already arrested. Then Quincy got beaten up and sent to the hospital. Do you think the DK is already strong enough to straight up against the police? The DK boss continued coldly. Let me repeat myself. I'll naturally think of a way to help him take revenge after this mission, but if he dares to mess around beforehand, I'll toss him down from the top of Hilda Hotel. I'm not a sentimental person. Chun, I found some things. Kate was calling Chun Zhao. Oh, what did you find out? I started investigating the guy called Engineer, Kate said. His alias is Pharaoh Kirk, and he works at an electricity company as a repairman. In the beginning, I thought that they had an ulterior motive related to the company. But then I realized that in the 10 days after he started working there, he'd gone out on 5 jobs. 3 were to the same place. Where? Hilda Hotel? Chun Zhao was shocked. Hilda Hotel? The person who called him is the front desk receptionist of Hilda Hotel, Lena Hather. She called them for repairs all 3 times. She also arrived at L.A. by plane a few days ago and went to an interview at Hilda Hotel on the 2nd day. She got the job the day of. The one who interviewed her was the lobby manager. He'd been revealed to harass interviewers before. Wait, let me get this straight. First, that Lena Hather had sex with the manager and became the receptionist of Hilda Hotel. Then she's able to cooperate with Pharaoh and do unknown things to the electricity system of the hotel? Yes, that should be it. Chun Zhao couldn't help but be impressed. Kate's professionalism wasn't any weaker than an experienced police investigator. She was able to discover so much information from clues that others wouldn't be able to think of. I also saw that Hilda Hotel's repair reports in the past 3 months were more than in the last 3 years. It's not just electricity. There were also many repairs for the alarm and sewage system. So, not only did Lena infiltrate the hotel, many other members of DK have gotten in too, and they're secretly damaging all sorts of infrastructure while deploying things? Yes. The 3 smiled awkwardly. They weren't willing. From Chen Zhao's words, they'd already figured out that this group wasn't a typical gang. Even a normal army might not be able to make such a tight plan. Plus, their arrangements would never be as simple as it seemed on the surface. They would be prepared for everything, such as if the news was leaked or if they'd attracted the police's attention. Any detailed plan would have 2 or 3 backup plans. This kind of organization definitely wasn't completed by a few people. There would be at least 30 or 40 people. If Kareem, Kane, and Howard had an army, they would be willing to bring them to justice. However, only the 3 of them with Chan Zhao were definitely on a suicide mission. It was the same theory as getting chased by wild beasts on the battleground. When chased by beasts, you didn't have to run faster than the beast. You only had to be faster than your companions. On the battleground, only the strongest could survive. If they join this mission, they may very well die. Chun, it's not that I don't want to help. I just haven't been sleeping well these days. I sprained my ankle when surfing yesterday. I was diagnosed with HIV. Chun Zhao's face darkened. Stop the bullshit. Tell me what I should do and pay attention to. The 3 thought for a while. Then Kane said, first is the surveillance room. Since the group infiltrated the hotel, then they would first take control of the surveillance room. One way is to cut off all cameras. Another is to have someone guard the room. I predict that they'll definitely take control of it, so you have to take control back. The 3 offered their own opinions and said many things that he had to be careful of. Chun Zhao listened humbly. These 3 professionals definitely thought in more detail than him. They thought of many things that he hadn't even noticed. There's also the equipment. The three looked at Chun Zhao. How are your shooting skills? What gun are you best at? Chun Zhao thought for a bit. I'm not that great. Have you used a gun before? Yes. I once fired an automatic assault rifle from a few meters away, and the people weren't hurt at all. The three had heard of so-called firearm idiots before. Today, they finally saw a living one with their own eyes. Chapter 596, Control the Hotel. Chapter 596, Control the Hotel. Rasfa, do you plan on attending today's auction? Of course. Is there a problem? Don't go. Stay at home today. Why? If you trust me, then don't attend it. Do not attend it, Chun Zhao warned seriously. Zola won't attend either, right? She won't. What about Steven? Neither. Good. Chun Zhao was relieved. Don't call anyone and don't tell anyone about this. What exactly is happening? There'll be an attack, Chun Zhao said seriously. Don't ask me how I know and don't tell anyone. They've infiltrated the police, and who knows how many people they have in the hotel. Rasfa was silent for a bit. I understand. Call your friends and family to your home for a party, Chun Zhao suggested. Rasfa was the only one that Chun Zhao notified. After hanging up, Chun Zhao looked at Laurent, who was tied up tightly. You three, watch this old guy for me. MMMF. Laurent tried to speak, but his mouth was already taped up. He couldn't say anything. Chun, it's only noon. Do you have to tie Laurent up so early? Of course. Chun Zhao looked at him. Today, you stay in the hotel. You're not allowed to go anywhere. MMMF. Mr. Laurent, the auction today is very dangerous. Chin's also doing it for you. Don't be angry. MF. Lawrence's eyes were filled with anger. Hilda Hotel. Arthur was having sex with his girlfriend when the fire alarm suddenly went off. Then there was rapid knocking on the door. What's going on? Arthur opened the door in annoyance. A firefighter with a helmet stood outside. Sir, there's a fire in the hotel. Please follow us out. You can't stay in the room anymore. Hearing that there was a fire, Arthur and his girlfriend could only hurry and put their clothes on. We're not going downstairs? Arthur and his girlfriend realized that they were going up. The fire blocked the stairs and the elevators are stopped. We can only go to the roof and wait for rescue. Everyone, this is a fire drill. Can all the workers cooperate and go through the fire drill? Where are we going? The water room on the 10th floor. What? We have to climb 10 floors? We'll die in the stairwell, an overweight worker complained. The hotel staff soon discovered that practically all the departments were taking part in the fire drill. What if the guests needed service during the drill? Unfortunately, no one gave any answers. All of the staff were taken to the water room on the 10th floor. This room supplied water to the 10th floor and below. Can someone explain who decided this fire drill? Someone who looked like an authoritative figure asked. Manager, the door is locked. We can't get out. Fuck. What's going on? Call the cops. Call them now. There's no signal. You guys try. I don't have a signal either. Break the door. Kick down the door. Manager, the door is similar to a bank safe. What's that smell? Under the door. Under the door. Colored gas started seeping in from the crack under the door. So dizzy. Outside the water room, a few DK members were calling their boss, but they used a special frequency channel. Boss, we took care of everyone in the hotel. The front desk is ready too. Okay, don't mess up. Just then, a few people came to the lobby of the hotel. Bach looked around. How come there are so few people here today? A disguised staff member walked over immediately. Hello, Mr. Bach. It's our honor to host your auction today. The guests all have very esteemed statuses, so we did some special arrangements to make it seem like there aren't many people. Oh, that's a pretty nice service. If the auction is successful, I'll choose to host it at your hotel again. The venue has been set up. Oh, are you new here? I was an artistic manager before. I work at the headquarters now, and they sent me here today as the temporary manager. My name is Quincy. Oh, Mr. Quincy, are you knowledgeable in art? I have studied a few contemporary masters of painting. Bach and Quincy chatted heartily along the way. By now, they reached the top level. Most of the people in the auction venue were Bach's men, but they didn't know that the hotel was already controlled by a crime organization. Mr. Bach, is there anything else I can help you with? No. Quincy, you're more knowledgeable about the arts than I thought. If you're interested in working for me, I would be very happy. Mr. Bach, I won't consider that for the time being. My apologies. Haha, it's all right. The guests for the auction streamed into the hotel lobby. Just then, Chun Zhao walked in with a suitcase. Hello, sir. You are? I want to stay at the hotel. Please get me a room, thank you. Sorry, there's a special event in the hotel today. We can't give you a room. Oh, really? It's the auction, right? I'm here for the auction too. Please show me your invitation. Chun Zhao took out his invitation. I'm from another city and I need a room. Is that okay? The receptionist thought for a moment and smiled, replying, Of course. I'll have another worker help you take the suitcase. Okay, thank you. Also, you're pretty. Can I get your number? Thank you, but I won't discuss private matters during work, the receptionist said with a smile. If there's a chance, we can talk later. Another worker came over and the receptionist said, Lead this sir to room 1205 on the 12th floor. Sir, I'll take your suitcase. Okay, here's your tip. Chun Zhao gave him $100 bill. When they reached the room, the worker remained standing there. Do you need something? Chun Zhao asked the worker. Sir, you're here for the auction, right? I must bring you there. Chapter 597, Auction. Chapter 597, Auction. Chun Zhao stood in the doorway and smiled at the worker. I know what floor the auction is taking place. I don't need someone to lead me. I'm sorry, sir. It is the hotel's rules. I must take you to the auction. I told you I don't need help, Chun Zhao said coolly. I can walk by myself. Is there a compulsory rule that you have to take me? Sir, I'm afraid that it is compulsory. The worker took a gun out and pointed it at Chun Zhao. He could only raise his hands. Can I take my tip back? Just then, the worker felt pain in his foot. Looking down, he saw a huge colored snake curled up on his leg. The fangs had sunk into his thigh. The worker was on the ground. Chun Zhao walked over and tugged at the man's clothes. Looks like it fits. Chun Zhao organized his collar. With this attitude, I really shouldn't have given a tip. He put on the man's mic and communication device. Then he opened his case. Samuel was in the case. He lay in there, panting. I can't breathe. I never want to be in a box again. It makes me feel claustrophobic. Chun Zhao rolled his eyes. You're a demon king. How can you feel claustrophobic? The security room is on the 8th floor. When Chun Zhao arrived, he discovered 2 corpses on the ground. They wore the security guard uniform of the hotel. It seemed that DK had already gotten control of the surveillance room. Chun Zhao pulled his hat down low and walked towards it. The door wasn't closed. The instant Chun Zhao opened it, the 3 DK members inside pointed their guns at him. Who are you? The one in the middle was already attacked by Raymond. The instant that the other 2 looked at him, Chun Zhao moved. He didn't hold back at all. He grabbed their necks and twisted. They died instantly. Chun Zhao successfully took over the security room. Samuel, you're in charge of watching this room. Notify me as soon as anything changes. Meow, meow. I want that equipment too. Samuel wanted the ear mic and communication device too. He'd seen it on TV before and thought that it was super attractive. However, Chun Zhao felt that it was too weird for a kitty to have all that. Raymond, stay behind to protect Samuel. I need Raymond's protection? Samuel asked unhappily. You can't even defeat a regular person now. Chun Zhao rolled his eyes. Plus, as a commander, you need to have subordinates, right? Fine, that makes sense. I'm the commander. Chun Zhao rubbed his forehead. He put on the Spider-Man mask that he'd prepared and left the room. This was a private auction, so the items wouldn't be taken out in the beginning. The owners would bring them here themselves. As time passed, more and more guests arrived. Instead of an auction, it looked more like a cocktail party. Seeing that most everyone had arrived, Bach pounded the gavel at the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Please take a seat. Our auction will begin soon. Bach straightened his collar. Today, 43 items will be auctioned, from art pieces to consumables. I'm sure everyone has seen the auction pamphlet before arriving, so I won't waste time describing them. Sir, excuse me, will the purple brew be auctioned today? Yes, of course. The purple brew is supplied by Mr. Rasfa, but he seems to have not arrived yet. Bach's heart jumped. Didn't Rasfa say that he would come today? How come he suddenly changed his mind? But even though he hadn't come, his item had been sent over. Bach was deeply in love with the mesmerizing fragrance. Unfortunately, it was too expensive. Even he couldn't bear to take a sip. What's the purple brew? You didn't attend Rasfa's wine tasting event? No. The name is so special. Which winery is it from? No, it's a mysterious wine from Asia. It's filled with magic. I can promise, you've never seen such a miraculous wine before. There were still many people at the auction that didn't know about the purple brew. They asked their friends about the wine's background. However, they only received answers that it was miraculous, special, extraordinary, and magical. This made the ignorant guests even more curious about the wine. Those who had tasted or heard about it before were even more excited. They hoped they could taste it again. Many of the guests had come just for the purple brew. I'm sure many of you have attended my private auctions before, so you should know that the items I provide are definitely top art pieces. As for the value and validity of the items, I can swear on my name that I have never auctioned a knockoff or low-quality piece in the past few decades. Just then, a dozen people broke in. They all held automatic rifles. Who are you? Bach yelled immediately. This is a private gathering. Sorry to disturb you all. We're here to rob you. The room fell into an uproar, but a gunshot soon silenced them. Do I have to reiterate myself? We're here to rob you. Now, you're our hostages. Bach looked at the short man in the front. Who are you? Do you know what you're doing? Most of the people here can make you evaporate from the world. I know, of course. The short man walked to the podium with a smile. Let me introduce myself. My name is Katic. Perhaps some of you have heard of my name before. Of course, more of you won't. But you should all know about the armed robbery at the Panama Tiger Club 2 years ago. That was done by my men. The room fell into an uproar again. A dozen wealthy families worldwide had been robbed during the Panama Tiger Club hostage event. In the end, each of them paid $3 million to keep their lives, but 2 of them still died during the case. More than 30 people from the Panama anti-terrorist group had been killed or injured. In the end, the criminals still escaped. It seems like you know my background. Now, I declare that all of your lives belong to me. If you want to live, please pay $1 million. In addition, Mr. Bach, your auction items will belong to me. No, Bach cried. You can't do this. Chapter 598, Counterattack. Chapter 598, Counterattack. Yes, I can. In fact, I'm already doing this. Katic looked at Bach arrogantly. Kate was in the crowd. She had dressed up as a staff member. She knew it was risky. It was actually the riskiest moment of her life. But she was a reporter. She knew that this might become the peak of her life. Of course, it was only provided Chen Zhao would really appear. Kate had set up 3 cameras in the area. She also had a mini spy camera on her. As long as she could survive, she could bring the videos back. She would then become the queen of reporters. Suddenly, there was another gunshot, which caused some disturbance again. Bach was shot in the head and collapsed on the floor. A lady in tight clothes was holding a small pistol. Katic slapped his forehead. Kira, He hasn't paid the ransom yet. You shouldn't have killed him so quickly. We've been here for too long. Let's not exceed the schedule. We need to collect the ransoms immediately. Fine, fine. Caddick shrugged helplessly. Now, please remain orderly and take turns to pay $10 million. Holding a POS terminal, a DK member approached a rich man. Sir, please. I don't have that much money. The rich man was clearly unwilling to pay. But all he received was a bullet. There was no hesitation. Caddick sighed. 10 million less for me? Just then, Caddick received a message from his earpiece. Boss, our people seem to be decreasing in number. Richie, Antfer, Luke, and Steve haven't responded for a while. And I've been hearing cat meows from the communication side. Where are the people in the monitoring room? Luke, Steve, and Antfer are in charge of that. We've lost contact with them. Caddick's face darkened at once. Something unexpected had happened. The 18th floor. Arthur was squatting on the floor, hugging his girlfriend. There were about 100 people around them, all of which were guests of the hotel. At the moment, they were locked in the meeting room. There were 2 people holding a machine gun each. There were also people guarding outside the meeting room. Just now, somebody had already attempted to resist, but he was practically shot into a beehive in less than a second. A few innocent people were also killed because of him. Arthur, I'm scared. Don't worry. I'll protect you. Arthur was terrified himself, but he still tried to comfort his girlfriend. Suddenly, they heard loud gunshots from outside the meeting room. It continued for about a minute. Everyone was horrified. Finally, the gunshots stopped. Nobody knew what had happened. Everyone was panicked and uneasy. The 2 DK members were also rather nervous as they pointed their guns at the door. Once they saw anything, they would fire without hesitation. Suddenly, the meeting room door opened with a bang. A person flew in. He was going so fast that one of the robbers by the door was hit and flung a few meters away. The person who was thrown in was also a robber. He smashed his companion to death directly. The other robber was badly shocked. He immediately grabbed a lady from the floor and held her before him. Arthur, save me. Arthur was about to stand up when the robber knocked him onto the floor with his gun stock. Come out now, the robber shouted, or I'll shoot. Suddenly, someone dropped down from the vent behind the robber. There were more than 100 pairs of eyes staring at the figure, but nobody made a sound. Chun Zhao approached the robber from the back and easily crushed his shoulder. Meanwhile, he pulled the hostage toward him. Who are you? Do you know? Chun Zhao grabbed the robber's neck and hurled him at the French window in the near distance. Crash. The robber flew outside the window. Chun Zhao patted the lady in his arms. Miss, you're safe? The lady looked at Chun Zhao in a daze. She stared at his Spider-Man mask. Can I kiss you? Sorry, no. Chun Zhao let go of the lady. You may leave now, but don't go upstairs, because there's still robbers. Go downstairs. Use the stairs. The elevators are locked out. Then, Chun Zhao turned around and left. Everyone stared at his back. After a brief moment of silence, they charged out too. Meow, meow. Master, we have 2 enemies on the stairs from the 18th to the 19th floor. They have their machine guns ready. Any good suggestions? Garbage chute. Chun Zhao found the garbage chute and climbed up. Soon, he managed to get behind the 2 robbers at the entrance to the 19th floor. The 2 robbers were fully focused on the staircase. They did not notice Chun Zhao charging toward them at all. Chun Zhao was too fast, so fast that they could not react. Glancing at the completely distorted corpses on the floor, Chun Zhao continued to go up. He was about to reach the top floor. Miss, it's your turn. A robber approached Kate and extended the POS terminal. It's clear that I'm a staff member here. I don't have 10 million, Kate said calmly. The robber had already lifted his gun when Kate quickly added, Don't you need a hostage? I won't resist. She's right. Keep her alive. She's small and will make a suitable hostage, Caddick said. Kate heaved a sigh of relief. Just when she thought that she would be spared, Caddick suddenly shouted, Wait, How do you know that we have a problem? Shit, Kate screamed in her mind. Caddick's gun was already pointed at her. Suddenly, a loud gunshot was heard from the outside. It was accompanied by a cry of misery. Then, everything went quiet. It was complete silence. There was no sound at all. In the auction hall, a dozen robbers pointed their guns at the door. Caddick's face darkened as he turned around and left. Anyway, he had already taken the auction items. The ransoms from the rich people were merely pocket money. Caddick looked at the box before him, which was filled with the auction items. Suddenly, a low sound was heard from within the box. Then, an intense aroma of wine began to permeate the air. The two robbers beside him started to wipe their tears. Caddick was utterly confused. What's wrong? Dunno. I just recalled a sad memory. That bitch Ella. I have to fuck her to death when I get back. Chapter 599. Are you comic fans? Chapter 599. Are you comic fans? The fragrance of the wine started to spread through the auction hall. Everyone started wiping their tears. Chun Zhao had already entered the hall through the ventilation. Kate held her camera, aiming it at Chun Zhao while wiping her tears. Even though he wore a Spider-Man mask, Kate could still recognize him. He was probably the only one who wasn't affected by the wine. Kate watched Chun Zhao kill. The criminals couldn't fight back at all. The criminal before Kate also turned around with his gun while wiping at his tears. Kate immediately took out the dagger she'd hidden and stabbed the man's neck. Chun Zhao saw Kate and immediately pulled her over. Why are you here? Don't wait. Let me cry. I'm so sad. While sobbing, Kate said, that room. So sad. I'm so sad. There are 3 people in that room. The leader and Chun Zhao immediately rushed toward the room that Kate had pointed out. Kate followed behind. So sad. When Chun Zhao pushed the door open, he saw a huge hole on the ground. No one was in the room. The hole led to the lower floor, so Chun Zhao jumped in. Kate jumped down directly too. Chun Zhao grabbed her immediately. Are you crazy? I want to follow you. Leave the boss to me. Meow, meow. Samuel's voice sounded in the earbud. Master, there are 3 people left. They took the elevator down with the auction items. Chun Zhao looked at the elevator. The number on the display kept lowering. 17, 16, 15. Chun Zhao yanked the elevator door open and looked down the cavern. The cables kept extending. He didn't dare to jump down. This was more than 20 stories high. But then, Kate pulled a pair of big scissors out of nowhere. Kate, where did you get this from? Chun Zhao grabbed the scissors and went to cut the elevator cables. Sizzle, sizzle. Sparks flew, and the scissors broke. Let's use the stairs. The scissors were just regular blades, but the elevator cables were made out of alloy metal. No matter how strong Chun Zhao was, he couldn't cut it. Do we have time? Their escape route is the sewage pipe, Chun Zhao said. I already got ready. Kate followed behind him. Chun Zhao turned around to look. You're filming? I'll cut out your voice. Keep the hot parts. Chun Zhao and Kate spent 5 minutes rushing down to the first floor. Caddick and his 2 men had entered the sewage tunnel with the case. Caddick never thought that it would be so bloody. DK had never had such great casualties since he'd founded it. Now, he only had 2 subordinates carrying the case. The good thing was that he'd gotten the money and the stuff. This ending wasn't unacceptable. Revenge? He would obviously take revenge if he could. But who should he take revenge on? Who exactly was that man? Boss, there's something up ahead. Caddick halted, his brows furrowing. Danger. Extreme danger. Right then, one of the men paled. Boss, my feet. Bomb. Chun Zhao had prepared this just for them. He'd tossed the bomb from the plane to New York into his spatial ring. After Gaia's transformation, it had turned into an underground bomb. This place was filled with dirty water. Who would have thought that there was a bomb here? Give me the case. Caddick clearly planned on abandoning this subordinate. The man's face darkened. You don't want me to live? Then I... Bang! The case shattered and everything scattered. The other subordinate was affected and died too. This plan was practically a complete failure. He only had around $100 million of ransom money that could comfort him. Caddick tossed his emptied gun and turned to leave. But Chun Zhao and Kate had entered the sewer too. The three of them faced each other. "Hello, DK boss." Chun Zhao waved. "This is our first meeting, right? Look at the camera and smile." Caddick stared coldly at him. "Hey, move aside and I'll pretend this never happened." Chun Zhao turned to Kate. "He's joking with me, right?" "Ha," Kate sneered. "Do you remember the police officer you shot 6 days ago at the station? That's my boyfriend. You're not a professional crime boss at all. You don't even have a gun." Caddick squinted at Chun Zhao. "Do you know why I named my organization the Death Knights? Because you like comics?" Both Caddick and Kate were speechless. Couldn't he be a bit more serious in times like this? Menace flashed past Caddick's eyes. "Because I am a knight of death?" Snored. Chun Zhao and Kate couldn't control themselves. This line was so childish. The atmosphere was completely ruined by his words. Caddick's expression darkened. He pulled some bottles out and smashed them onto the ground. Black smoke poured out of them. Sensing something wrong, Chun Zhao and Kate retreated to meters away. "Chin, something doesn't feel right." "I have that feeling too." The two had a short and useless conversation. The black smoke covered Caddick's body and a layer of black metal appeared on his arms. It was sharp armor and more of his body was covered as the black smoke spread. "Chun, should we turn around and run now?" Kate asked, terrified. "It's okay. He just looks scary, but he's nothing." Caddick punched the wall and a huge hole appeared in it. Kate turned toward Chun Zhao. "Are you sure he's nothing?" "I can do that too, trust me, but he does look hotter." "Is that all you care about?" Kate was speechless. "Can't you be more serious? This is clearly supernatural." Caddick had completed his transformation. His entire body was covered in black armor, and he really did look like a death knight from movies. "Hey, you're missing a weapon," Chun Zhao said. Then Caddick grabbed in the air, and a black spear appeared in his hands. Kate looked at Chun Zhao. "Chin, why didn't I realize before that you like getting yourself killed?" "That's because you didn't know me well enough." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.